Hey, we're live on YouTube. That's where you find us every Wednesday at 5:30 Eastern, give or take.
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes it's 5:36. Oh fuck! All right, well we're late today. Whoops.
That's
we were doing better than that.
late and just do it.
Oh boy. Well, what are you gonna do? Adam, it's coming off of a media tour, as usual.
And a bender.
It's been quite a whirlwind. You can have both at the same time. It's
true.
fun. Mm-hmm.
I've seen Britney Spears do it, actually. You can't do both at the same time. Your buddy is here, Jake Hudson.
Jake Hudson.
Jake Hudson says, I'm a little nervous as what Carl's going to say about my interview. I loved it. Do not be nervous. We will be covering it today. But I enjoyed it.
You know, I don't know either, Jake.
And then I watched, hopefully Jake watched Tukey Soup last night. Because they covered it extensively. Mm-hmm. But we'll get into all of that. That's
Okay.
a tease. That's a tease for content on the show today. As you guys know, we're not starting the show. We're warming things up over here. Some people have countdown clocks and shitty music. We just hop right on and just start talking to the chat. Thirsty wants to see Adam dance around like Britney. You have an Instagram that you can promote?
Yeah, go to Reagan.com, REAGANDOTCOM, and I will dance around there for you, Thirsty.
Do you spell out dot?
Yeah.
Never heard someone do that before. HTTPS.
All right.
//
You know that Rush Limbaugh was selling to seniors Reagan.com email addresses. They were charging them like $50 a month to have the trusted comfort and strength of Ronald Reagan. So they'd sell Reagan.com.
Wow.
I just did that to be like, look, anybody can do it. Please don't send them $50 for an email address.
That's funny. Hughesy's heinous goutfoot. Dame Taft was really pressing his luck over here. 90-cent super sticker. Hellraiser 69. Is Adam sick or something? First BYB, then Jake Hudson. What's next? Morseverse? Whoa.
Never.
We're
Never.
here for you, Adam.
Low blow.
Thank you.
We were hanging out with both the guys in that pick, Hellraiser and Zen, at Vinny's show last weekend. Mm-hmm. Which reminds me, this weekend, Earl David Reed,
Yeah.
EDR, friend of the show, frequent contributor, will be live at Comedy at the Carlson. We're going to go see him Saturday night. I had someone reach out to me and say, hey, what night are you going? I think we're going Saturday. He's going to be on the show. He'll be in studio with us Saturday. We'll get him warmed up for some comedy and some riffing. And then I'll go have a great show. Because there's one thing that I know about this show, and everyone agrees. It's always hilarious.
Yeah.
Everyone on the show is hilarious. The host.
Yeah. We warm people up for other good shows.
Hughesy's heinous goutfoot. Dame Taft. Adam is Carl's banter mistress.
No, then I'd be better at it, Husey. I'd be
That's a good
much
point, yeah.
better at it.
Yeah, I'm not looking for different banter, you know? I'm not looking for strange banter over here.
It's Carl
Strange
Blind Mike
banter.
banter.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not looking for strange just yet, but I might get sick of Blind Mike at some point. And get out there.
That's going to be hard to do.
Principled Uncertainty talking about EDR says Carl's one black friend. One more than you, Principled Uncertainty.
Got you there.
And barely, like
I
he's
don't know if that's
barely.
true. Yeah, I have no idea.
And I saw a special. And, yeah. Very funny, but come on. Beef Drippins is a member for a month. I don't care what everyone says. I enjoy Ambush. But producer Chris reigns supreme. Hi, Carl.
And also Carl's here.
Seems like a backhanded compliment in many ways.
Carl does...
Everyone loves producer Chris, though.
Well, we love Chris. Yeah, we love Chris.
We can all agree on that, apparently. How are we sounding? How are we looking today? Are things working today? I'm having a lot of tech issues this week.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying.
Well,
Yeah.
I see we're recording. That's good. You want to hit a drop, my friend?
Oh, yeah, we should probably do that. Something like...
Hey, a few more of those 20s, I'm a happy pig.
You're garbage. Human garbage.
Oh, you know what I should really mention? If you haven't seen Point Dabble Point this week, we did it on my channel on Monday, and we had this guy Jack come on, and Jack got to meet Stuttering John at ChillerCon.
Yeah, and he did it right.
Oh, boy, did he do it right. He had videos and images and stories, and his whole thing, he stayed on the entire show. I talked to him before the show started.
Yeah.
And he goes, "You want me to just like scram after my segment?" I said, "Well, we'll play it by ear. See how it goes."
Let's see how you riff.
Yeah, because sometimes it's overwhelming. The people are like, "Get this fucking guy out of here."
How many of Jack's friends had to come with him?
No, he didn't have to bring any friends.
Good question.
Oh,
It was
well,
just
that's a
his
good start.
girlfriend.
All
Yep.
right.
Yep,
Makes
so that
for a
was
good
good.
appearance.
But what was really funny is, so before the show, we kind of talked about, like, do you have time? Do you want to hang out? I go, if you want, if it's working, you can hang out. He ended up hanging out for the whole show. And I guess his girlfriend was watching the show in the other room and reading the chat. And she told him, she's like, "You're getting a lot of compliments on not talking too much." That was the thing that he was getting a lot of positive feedback on.
Yeah, and even Reddit was nice to him the next
Yes.
day.
Oh, yeah. Well, he killed it. It was a fantastic appearance, even Reddit.
That fades eventually. It all goes away. Don't.
Oh, yeah,
Of
yeah.
course.
You don't want to start going on everyone's stupid show like BYB and Jake Hudson. And we're out here.
No,
Welcome.
Jack was
Not like
shopping
an
it
idiot.
around, and he chose WATP, and we know that you have a
Yes.
choice in airlines, sir.
Yes, we do know that. We appreciate you. Of course, that was Point Dabble Point. But yes,
All right.
fantastic episode of Point Dabble Point.
And I love
We
that
got-
Point Dabble Point is now like a Meet the Press of the week. We're covering
Yes.
everything.
We cover the Dabbleverse. We stole it from Quadfather. I'm not giving him a red cent.
His idea first, covering things was his.
Yeah, I will not be paying any commissions on this. But we covered, what did we cover? Obviously, Stuttering John stuff for the first hour. And then we got into Opie stuff. No, maybe it was Steel Toe and then Opie. And then even Kevin Brennan got in there, too. All of the things you want to hear about in the Dabbleverse, we're covering on Point Dabble Point. And that is on either my channel or Shuey's channel. It's every other week. Mondays at 4 p.m. Eastern. If you're on our Patreon, I also put out the audio version of that. So people who are on our Patreon who still like to listen to audio podcasts like crazy old timers do, they want to be able to actually like multitask and get shit done in their day while listening to their entertainment.
They don't want to look
Sign
at
up.
this. They don't want to look at. All this.
They don't want to stare at ugly dorks.
All right.
If you sign up for our Patreon, patreon.com/podcasts, whenever this little piggy, I missed one, but whenever this little piggy or Point Dabble Point is on my channel, I do convert it to audio only, and I put that in the feed so that goes right as an RSS feed right to your podcast player, and you don't even know it's there. You look at your phone, and go, oh, it's a new episode out on Carl's Patreon.
Doesn't work for
feed.
you.
It's crazy how that works. Doesn't have to like make you download something, doesn't tap you on the shoulder and go, "Hey, come here." Just shows up like magic. Flashy Vic is here with £5. EDR was the victim of the second ever official Jocktober. I can't believe you've never talked to him about it.
I didn't know that.
It's going in my notes.
Oh, I think we have. I think he's brought that up actually. I think the first time we had him on, I didn't know it was his second ever Jocktober. But if we can find that somewhere, that would be a lot of fun. Let's ambush him. Let's go. Fuck EDR.
Was it Trucker Andy who ran in the other day? Like, guys, you're never gonna believe it. You're never gonna believe it. Kevin Brennan, he did Star Search with Dave Chappelle. Collapsed.
It was so funny. Yeah, Trucker Andy was on Point Dabble Point, and he goes, "Did you get that Instagram message I sent you?" Just so you know, I get 0 Instagram messages. I don't look at Instagram. I don't give a shit about it. So sometimes I get notifications like, "All apologies sent you." I'm like, whatever. But yeah, that was his big thing. He's just like, "Did you know?" And he's like, hold on to your hats, everybody. Did you know that Kevin Brennan was on Star Search? Yeah.
Yes.
You know who he lost to?
Dave Chappelle.
Yes. That's very well known. It's like, oh shit, I thought I had a scoop.
But I did appreciate him saying it because I stupidly had not really put together that, oh, and then the guy that ruined your big dream went on to have the greatest success in comedy with your older brother.
With his younger brother.
Younger brother, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Makes it
Oh,
even more.
yeah. He hates that. It is a very funny thing. When you look at people who are bitter, like Opie and John and Kevin Brennan, I look at Kevin Brennan and I go, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
It makes
And
sense.
just like with John, it's a guarantee. If they are rooting for them to fail, they're going to win.
Right.
All of them. All the people he doesn't want to see succeed.
Yeah. It's amazing how that works out. The greater good, $2. Asked SJ to sign my Coors can, but he already had one. Good joke. We did a bonus show yesterday. Mm-hmm. I think that's where I brought that up, and maybe the greater good heard that. But I was talking about how if I ever get a chance to talk to John again, like we did those 2 shows, I think one of the first questions I would ask him is why he thinks the OJ joke he has in his act is a joke. Where he goes, yeah, I asked OJ to sign my knife, but he already had one. I want it almost like a Tom Myers-esque like explanation of the punchline.
Yeah.
I want to be like, how is that funny? What does that mean?
John, pretend I'm from another planet.
Yeah.
Tell me how this works as a joke.
Explain to me, like, I don't know who OJ is. I don't know what knives are. Explain to me why this is funny.
And then after that, you can be like, John, did you steal the squeegee bit from Steve-O?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. We haven't brought that up on this show, have we?
I just did.
Thank you. See, Andy, that's how you do it. That's how you get a scoop out here.
But yeah, Dave Chappelle kicked Kevin Brennan's ass.
Kevin Brennan was a very good stand-up. Losing
Yeah.
to Dave Chappelle is okay.
Oh,
That if you're going to lose to someone.
He called out Ed McMahon. He's like, oh, you have to say he's like the youngest, and he's already won. He's already won. He's kind of right about that.
That's funny. James P., thanks for the $2. Evan Brennan has been a member for 1 whole month. Great show, boys. Steady crushing it. Steady as she goes.
Oh, it's Evan Brennan.
Evan Brennan. That's one of my 18 brothers who are more successful than me and still hang out with the family.
I'm going to write a play about you.
We do have the super tip system in place, everybody. If you want to participate in the show, supertip.gg/WATP is where you want to go. And you can be one of the many hilarious AI voices. Oh, I don't want to talk about this on the show, so I'll bring this up now. One of these law tubers, the guy's name's Sean. Forget the name of his channel, but he used to do shows with Nick Rekieta. And Nick Rekieta is now set up on Super Tips. So Nick Rekieta is back to streaming every day, and he's talking about the Karen Reed case. And people are using the Super Tip system, and they're putting in Sean's AI voice. And so Sean makes a comment on his show about right to publicity or something that he's complaining about. And Aaron Inholt's eating it up. He's just like, oh my God, what an idiot. It's one thing to take the voice of a shock jock. I mean, I don't care, but these guys are lawyers. They're going to get away with that? Using the voice of an attorney? I love how people think that attorneys are different than the rest of us. Like, they're just fucking people. We're all just people. But it's hilarious that Sean made a comment that it could be litigious or something about this. And apparently that was enough for Aaron to run with it and go, yeah.
Another win for the toe.
Sue everyone. Sue everyone.
They think calling a lawyer has the weight of like calling an adult. Like when you're a kid.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to tell on you. Everything changes now. It's real now.
Certainly John believes that.
Yes. A lot of people do. A lot of people think that attorneys are supposed to be better people. They're not. They're scumbags. In a lot of cases. Not all. Most. Annie in the private chat is saying that there's a hiss/wind room sound going on.
I hear it too.
Let me mute. It's probably not Adam. Let me just mute him real quick.
I think
it's Adam.
I think it's Adam. Yep. This fucking guy. Fucking with my show. This is the long game that he's playing right now. Getting our good graces. Slowly start to dilute the content of the show.
He's actually on the beach next to Opie.
while talking longer and longer and longer.
Yep. Filling more time, but also diluting the content by going on everyone's show, so it's not special.
That's part of
And
the
then
plan.
eventually starts getting wind noise on the show, and everyone goes, like, I can't even listen to this anymore.
But then that turns to trains, which turns to tornadoes. It just keeps growing and growing. Cardiff tried to warn everyone, but nobody listened.
I am on to you. Hughesy's heinous gout foot again. 1 in 3 Hackamania attendees will experience gout and docking. Oh my gosh, maybe I'm going to pull out. Maybe I should pull out.
That seems to be the move.
That is the thing to do. No, it seems like everyone's going. Dr. Steve's definitely in. They're moving weird medicine to Saturday night, which is great. Unfortunately, I guess Vito's going to be there too. I guess.
Why?
I know. Why even bother? I'm going to fucking heckle him. Give me a microphone.
Why bother?
Yeah.
Go screw. That was a funny thing when I was watching Tukey Soup just now, and he was sniping the mud shark, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but so Chad's watching me, watching Aaron, and Tukey's watching Chad, watching me, watching Aaron, and we were making comments about Aaron, and you played a go screw drop from your board.
Yeah.
And Chad's like, oh, geez, I thought Carl did a good impression for once, but no, it's just a drop from his board. I'm like, wait, you're criticizing people for using drops from their board? That's all his show
Sorry, we
is.
have more than 6, Chad.
That's all it is. Like, it wasn't even a whipping sound. What the fuck's the point of that?
What's the point?
These guys are idiots.
I caught some of that, and he made he watched you make a slight critique of him, and then he launched into a maniacal Carl laugh. That was like the Joker from the 60s that just went on so uncomfortably long that like you could feel everyone just staring at him waiting to end, but he needed to get this out. It was a lot of emotion that he was feeling over a very small.
Was that the same? Because I saw that at another
I think it was
time.
earlier today.
Okay, because I saw one just recently, and then Tukey was laughing along with him. Is that?
Oh, I missed that. That's
okay, so this is a different one. Yeah.
He can't stand when you make fun of him, so he just has to like make sounds until it's over.
Turns into a cartoon bit where the boss stops laughing and everyone's still laughing.
That's mixed with that meme of that kid who's like with the vein on his face.
Right. All right. God, I could do this all day. But we can't do this all day. We have a show to get to. We have things to talk about.
Other shows do it all day.
I have a script. We have to get to it. I will get into that. I don't know what the definition of a script is. And oh, why would they think I meant a script when I said a script? We'll get into it.
Stop judging me by my words and actions.
Right. What the fuck is wrong with these people? All right. The show is starting now.
You see, this is a we just do it kind of show.
Here we go.
Episode
617.
Are you a boner guy?
Oh, I was a boner guy.
You know what? I miss penis.
What are you talking about?
I'm the one who should apologize.
Is it going to be absolutely riveting? Is it going to change your life by any stretch? Probably not, but it's going to be at least entertaining, okay?
By the way, for those people that are in the back, remember to shut the fuck up.
Cuz-a-roo.
Slap-a-rooney.
It's showtime.
WATP.
WATP.
Hello, Rubbernecks and Cousin-Roos. Welcome to another episode of Who Are These Podcasts, the only show in the Dabbleverse that's impossible to goof on. I'm your host, Carl. With me, as always, he used to be Mr. Hollywood, but now he's Mr. Wednesday. It's Adam Bush.
I'm so happy to be back.
Producer Chris is here as well.
Yo.
You can go to whoarethese.com. That's where you get our email address, the voicemail number, the link to our subreddit, the link to our Discord server, the link to our merchandise, the link to our YouTube channel, and the link to Patreon and Supercast featuring 2 exclusive bonus episodes every month. Wait, did I say 2? We did 3 in April. 3 exclusive bonus episodes yesterday. We just dropped a brand new Living in the Past with Stuttering John, producer Chris, Jenny Jingles were with me. We went through another episode where he's talking about the Secret Service coming after him and him hiding from the Secret Service, not answering the door. This was the same technique he used when VTM was trying to serve him a $12.5 million lawsuit. Don't answer the door, Bob!
Or I'm guessing anything in his life. The cats want food.
Yeah, just avoid it. Just hide at Pickwick. He called them from the shitter in Pickwick when he finally did call the Secret Service. Anyway, all of that's covered. Also, John failing miserably on the Howard Stern roast on the Channel 9 show. We went over all of that. So worth checking out. If you go to our Patreon or our YouTube, you can become a member. You can gift a membership here while you're watching. We're live every Wednesday, 5:30 Eastern, for anyone to come on and watch how the fudge is packed. What I like to say. Hackamania is coming up May 9th through 11th. That's soon. And listen, I get it. You didn't make plans. Vegas is too far away from where you live, and you're thinking, I don't think I'm going to swing it this year. You can stream it from home.
No.
I can.
You can. In fact, you better. 'Cause you're not fun enough. You can stream it, And you can do that by going to hackamania.com. Use the promo code WATP to sign up for that. You can watch all the podcasts. I'm talking about This Little Piggy, Biggest Problem in the Universe, Who Are These Podcasts, The Creep Off, Nobody Likes Onions, Weird Medicine. Wow. Is actually headlining the entire event. Steve's coming in Saturday. He's going to do the final show Saturday night. Tukey Soup with Cardiff is going to be there. I am very much looking forward to Hackamania.
What do you say to those fans that would love to live stream it, but they're afraid you're going to dox them?
Deal with it.
You got to take some risks in life, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Not quite the comfort they were looking for.
Now, there's another show coming up, and this is for our friends on the East Coast, especially the Northeast. We are live in Boston on June 21st at the City Winery. WATPlive.com is where you can go to get your tickets. It's going to be the whole WATP crew, along with Dick Masterson and Johnny, the audio engineer, and no Vito Gesualdi, zero Vito Gesualdi. WATPlive.com, live in Boston on June 21st. I think, so I saw the numbers yesterday. There were 3 VIP tickets left.
No.
It could be sold out by now. And tickets are selling. So you're going to want to get on there, get your seats. It is assigned seating. You pick out where you're going to sit in the City Winery. It's a very classy place, very fancy. I know Dick has been telling everyone to dress up nice for this event. We're all going to dress nice and be professionals at this live show. It's Dick's last live show, so we're going to celebrate and have some style. Also, we encourage our listeners, give us 5 stars in Apple Podcasts or wherever you review podcasts, but then shit all over us in the comment section. Today, we'll be talking about Erik Griffin. Not only is he an unfunny comedian, he also might be a slow. The BYB podcast watched our review of Adam on their show. Anthony Cumia has extended the olive branch to Scorch. Opie explains to chatters how much he's enjoying his life. Of course, we have another 2 minutes with Tom from the great Cardiff Electric. But first, Adam Bush was on with Jake Hudson a couple of days ago. And you did a fantastic job. Jake did a fantastic job. I thoroughly enjoyed your appearance on there. What were your overall thoughts, takeaways?
Well, we review these podcasts. We make a lot of bold statements and proclamations, and we do a lot of judging. And I just wanted to see what it would be like if they had a guest. These people that we review, that we talk about, that was open and willing to let them lead and do their show. We hear a lot, I don't have guests, I don't have help, I don't have producers. Well, here you have someone, I've done this a couple times before. I'm a friend, I'm here to help, and I'll give you about 15 to 20 minutes before I start to get bored, and then I'll just ask you what I like and move on. And I'm continuing to make that offer to any podcast that would like to have me on. I'm happy to let you showcase your skills. You know, so we can't say that it was due to limitations, because I'm here to be supportive should you need it. However, if it doesn't go well, now we know.
Did you hear Tukey's take on you doing Jake's show? And BYB?
What did he say?
It was very funny. He's like, you got to have some respect for your time, Adam. What are you doing?
Yeah, he's right. I know about it.
But Tukey went through this. I'm not saying that he did the same thing you're doing, but Tukey did a thing where all of a sudden everyone's like, Tukey, you got to come on my show. And he just kept saying yes to everyone. Yeah. And then he realized, like, I can't keep doing this. And he just told everyone, no, I'm not doing anyone.
He might be onto something. I think he might be.
He's lived the experience. He knows.
I've been trying to work this out with the Aussie guy for what feels like 6 months now. And it's difficult to lock down a time. But honestly, I'm open. I can't just pop in and out. The only way I can do it is to feel comfortable, give the person the time to just, know that I'm not going anywhere. We can stay. We can make it right. And so far, I found that it is very revealing. It's just as revealing as the opposite, like going on to just shit on someone and have a big gotcha and then running. Letting people slowly reveal themselves can sometimes be even more revealing.
I love that. I love your strategy. I love your approach. I think it all makes a lot of sense. You just reminded me the Aussie guy will also be on WATP this Saturday along with EDR. It's an early teaser that I'm putting out there. So that should be a lot of fun. All right. I want to start with a couple clips here from you with Jake Hudson. Do you want to set up your first clip at all?
Yeah, and I just want to invite everyone to compare and contrast this interview to the BYB one and any other one that you've seen in the Dabbleverse in terms of like having a goal and seeing if they set out to do what they wanted to. But first, I found it very revealing to find out what Jake's takeaway from working with Stuttering John was. What was it like when like what was the experience with John like on the show? Did you guys get along?
It was good. It was like an hour and some change of us talking, and he sent me $50 super chat that I got to.
Did he really? Say that again. He sent you.
I got $50 a super chat for
That's
$50,
fantastic.
but I never received it because I don't get YouTube.
Why?
YouTube because of my tax paperwork. I have to donate.
But how do you know he sent it?
You know, but I want to say thank you so much for answering because I know that you had and I know Carl might talk about this on his show.
Great deflection right there. Oh no, John's very generous. Sent me $50. I never got it though. Oh, how'd you know he sent it to you? So Carl's probably going to talk about this on his show, right?
So that's the question. Is this brilliant deflection or something else? I don't know.
What do you think? You're not sure about that? I'm going to start treating you like you treat these people. What do you think about that, Adam? How do you think that went down?
Well, if I was one of those people, I would say you have no right to do that to me. Blocked, and I'm going to sue you.
Okay, fair.
That is not fair. I think he's smarter than he lets on. Like most smart people, they play a little dumb. In this next one, I think he exercises that. What's that?
That's a hot take.
Oh, wait, I know.
From you.
We'll see how this ends. I'm more about comparing people to each other and seeing how they rank out with that. But right here, he does something that, again, is very masterful. He doesn't take the bait that when I do this on any other show, everyone's very quick to agree with anything I say about this.
We're moving to the third link, right?
Yes.
That's fine. That's fine.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let's set up the second one first.
Hold on. I'm a pro. Okay. You've already set this one up. I'm
go
ready.
for it.
I'm here for it.
Who's with me?
You been to Dabble House?
I haven't, but I saw it on TV. When I could get through on the stream, eh?
Hey, I'll be honest with you. Here's the thing. Chad was talking about the isotopes today.
Who was?
Chad was saying.
What was he saying about them?
Carl was cooking the numbers.
Oh, is he? Is that?
That's great.
Do you want to answer that? Do you want to answer?
I have no idea what Chad's referring to as cooking the numbers. If you look at any isotopes video, they're not cooked. There's not a lot of views on those. Not a super popular band. The isotopes.com. Check them out. So
you're denying this accusation. You're denying it. You're saying he's lying about this. Okay.
I've never bought a view in my life.
Okay.
But I like that you tried to bait him into shitting on Dabble House there.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, yeah, that was a debacle, huh? And he wasn't going for it.
Which shows he has some kind of moral compass, some kind of backbone there.
Or he just didn't purchase Dabble House.
Yeah, no easily distracted, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he can hear me, really. I don't think there's no guarantee that he can hear the words I'm saying, but it still goes well, yeah.
All right, so the second clip that you sent me is...
Oh, SJ didn't pay him. I just love that because, of course, there's always some reason why the money didn't get out of SJ's hands to somebody else. And he happens to reveal who did pay him the most in the Dabbleverse. And I was wondering if you guys could guess, if anyone hasn't heard it. Who do you think in the Dabbleverse paid him the most?
Yeah. Speculate in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Speculate away. You're right. John always has an excuse like, I hate going to the post office. That was literally his excuse for not sending money.
I bought you those beers. Your mother bought me those beers. Same thing. Nope.
All right. So let's find out who paid Jake Hudson the most.
So working with KB was I had fun, but the thing is, it was then it was the times that he refused to pay me. He refused to I made more on El Horrible. El Horrible paid me more than Shuli and KB's paid.
Mm-hmm.
I never received a dime from I'm owed a T-shirt from Opie. I'm owed a T-shirt from Opie.
So there you have it. Rocco's the most generous dabbler for Jake Hudson. Kevin Brennan's not paying him any money. And this is fresh off an appearance with Kevin Brennan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not getting any money from KB. And he's buying shirts from Opie, and Opie's not doing anything for him. Disappointing.
Wait, can you actually get one of those shirts?
The Opie shirts?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think you can.
What do you mean? You don't think he's actually fulfilling those? He's got a whole merch store.
Someone else was complaining about that, not just Jake.
Really? Because there's a guy in Rochester who I know was his merchandise fulfiller.
Okay.
I don't know if he still is because he's got a lot going on now, so he might not be anymore. Opie might not even know he's not anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Now that I think about it. That's interesting. Now he starts doing this thing with you, and this was well done by Jake. He was prepared.
Yep.
He said, I'm going to give you a list of names. I want you to tell me if they're professional or unprofessional.
Which is a weird distinction. I didn't quite understand what the big deal was about either one, but he also wanted me to then add a one-word adjective to describe the person. So he was basically naming everyone in the Dabbleverse. I had to say professional, unprofessional, and then add an adjective. It went on for a very long time.
It did, but it was riveting. I wasn't sure what you were going to say, so here's an example of that.
Next one, FKB, Kevin Brennan.
I feel like you were trying to lead me a little bit there with the F. You know, you're kind of putting that in my head. Be careful. Don't try and sway me. I'm on to you. So you're asking me, is Kevin Brennan unprofessional and embarrassing?
Neil Brennan.
Professional.
I know you worked with Neil Brennan before. I think it was you.
That's interesting. I worked with Neil Brennan as a kid at Nickelodeon, but not in any capacity that we really remember. What I did actually was screen test for the role of Neil Brennan and Kevin Brennan.
Wait, was Neil Brennan the child star?
He worked at Nickelodeon. He worked on all that.
What do you mean
Doing
worked on?
Bits and things, and yeah, he was involved in that.
Like behind the scenes, like an
I think
employee?
so, yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Is he a lot older than you?
I don't know. I don't know his age. That's a good question. In HBO
Failed,
pilot deal.
Failed. So that was you.
Yeah. Not in Number One Son. That was a pilot that wasn't picked up. I was in the pilot he wrote that didn't get shot.
But so by the way,
It's pretty
here's
funny.
the thing. All right, next one. Kenan Thompson.
Hey.
Oh, this is funny. You stepping it here. I liked this a lot because I'm a big Kenan Thompson fan. I didn't know that you two had a relationship, so I was excited to hear this. And I love how Jake really set you up for this one. What a scumbag you are, Adam Bush.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time together when I was younger. And
Professional.
yo, you're right. I'm so sorry. Thank you. I'm such an asshole. What a Hollywood piece of shit. You got me. Yeah, professional and dolphin. He's like a dolphin.
I love that.
And I'm completely flustered. I'm totally.
It's like, Kenan Thompson, funny you say that. We actually go back a ways. We worked out a few projects together. You might have heard of. Oh, we're playing the professional game. That's right.
Yeah. If one of the debate moderators had that kind of confidence, we'd probably live in a better democracy.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. He was not taking any crap from me. We're sticking to these rules.
So that's impressive.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm
Because
saying.
he's saying Kevin Brennan, Neil Brennan. He's throwing out all the people in the Dabbleverse. And then Kenan Thompson. And so you're immediately like, oh, we're shifting away from this. We're talking about something different. And he's like, I'm not interested in your little anecdote, dummy.
Play the game, Bush.
We're playing the game right now.
You got it, Jake.
Raise your hand if illegal immigrants should have free health care. We're playing a game. Come on, figure it out.
Meanwhile, I appear on a lot of these shows. I talk a lot of shit for a long time, and nobody interrupts me. They all just let me go. This guy's sticking to the script as this thing goes.
That's so true.
Say the line, Bart.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You want to set up this next clip here?
It's the exact perfect thing you just set up. He's either a genius or he's totally crazy and free associating, because he does here what Stuttering John is known for. And he does it better than John does it. This is how you disable someone, you disarm someone with disability, and then you sneak in something difficult. I think this is masterful what he does here.
Okay.
One of
Yep.
them. So my favorite. So how have you worked with Dan Snyder? Did you work with?
He's like, yeah, man, you're great. I really enjoy all the shows you're on. Dan Snyder, go.
Go, yeah. How are you responsible? Explain.
I picture Stuttering John on the red carpet, stuttering, and people feeling bad for him.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll answer anything if you could just get it out.
Yeah, and then they come out with that, and it's no different than anywhere else, by the way. I am required by law to answer to the crimes of people that I have never worked with, and in some instances, never met, or even like knew people that knew them at the time. But it is my responsibility to answer, and I better know what the fuck I'm talking about, and I better get it right, and I better not waver, because it's on me. And everyone handles it their own way, and I thought Jake handled it just as well, if not better, than anybody else.
I agree. And not to make it real, but when that Nickelodeon doc came out, that must have increased the questioning for you by 20-fold, I would imagine.
It's funny because it's like the Kevin Spacey thing too. You know about something for so long,
Yep.
and then you finally see it, and it's just everything you've known and heard, verbatim, and it almost feels like it didn't happen, you know, because nothing changes really except people asking me more questions about it, and somehow believing and having less compassion about it, and more like even Quad's going on about how you're supposed to handle this stuff. He goes, well, if this happened to me, this is how you're supposed to do it. Really Quad? You know how you're supposed, because there's a right way, and you know it. Do you know what that sounds like when you say you know how you're going to handle?
Kind of victim blaming, but also, if anyone was going to essay anyway, I feel like Quad would be the easiest to do too.
Well, I didn't. You guys do have a lot in common. I see. Both your minds go there real fast. That's interesting. When presented with confrontation, it all turns. I get it.
Yep. All right. Here's another clip that you have on here. I love it when you make Jake laugh, or Jake makes himself laugh. That's one of my favorite parts of your guys' interaction.
I didn't want. We've all seen him freak out and get nervous and do that, and that'll probably happen inevitably. I wanted to bring out something different, and I gotta say, this goober little incest laugh of his makes me so happy. It really does. It's pure joy.
Carl him to having me on.
Listen, Carl. Here's the thing. I asked him.
So you might have stepped on that a little bit. So the question is, will Carl ever have me on? And you have a very good response here, because you asked me if there's anything I'd like to tell Jake Hudson. There was one thing I told you, and you weaved it into the conversation perfectly here.
To having me on.
Listen, Carl. Here's the thing. I asked him to get back to me, and he doesn't. And do you want to know why he doesn't, Jake?
He's busy.
Yeah, he's busy listening to the AI songs that you send him. You send him too many, and you have to stop sending them to him, because he's spending all of his time listening to them and chronicling them, and I can't get a hold of him. So promise me you'll stop, okay?
Dude, you want me to make you one?
I do not.
That wasn't the question.
He's not hearing. He's listening, but...
But the answer is yes.
No.
He sends so many AI songs all the time. And sometimes we do a whole group list of people. And sometimes they're just to me. And I can't stand them. I hate AI music. Please never do that again. We have a little bonus here. It's a short one. A little advice for Stuttering John.
He's very good at what he does. If you could give Stuttering John that's advice, what would it be? You're good at this.
Leave.
Pretty good advice. Leave.
Pretty good. Make like a tree and leave. Pretty good advice. So overall, I thought it was a great episode. I was glued to it. I felt compelled to send you a note. I paused it halfway through because I went to the hockey game, but I felt compelled to send you a note and tell you how much I genuinely enjoyed your interaction and interview with Jake Hudson.
Thank you. And I hope anyone who wants to make him a punching bag, you can feel free, but when you really compare him to the other people in this world and what they're trying to get done, I don't think he is any different or working on a different level than anybody else here in this Dabbleverse, including myself.
Especially Ray DeVito.
And well, yeah.
Now, we did a segment last week that was similar to this segment because you went on BYB, and then Quadfather's like, oh, they're going to talk about this on their show, and then we're going to talk about this on our show. And I don't know how long they talked about us for because you just sent me over a couple timestamps, but this episode's over 3 hours. And was it dragged out? Did you watch all of it? Do you know?
It's very long. They cover all of it. And I really hope everyone, if you have a free 3 hours to spare, you're going to watch The Godfather 2 and you said, fuck it, I want to do this instead. Please listen to, they'll hear a point that we say on the show, and then without fail, they will give in real time an example of what we're talking about as it happens. It's pretty wild.
Like they're trying to refute it, and then they actively demonstrate that that's what they do.
Yeah. They'll come to a conclusion and they'll just ignore it, jump to the other thing. It's strange. It was just like we were talking about with Chad. When you say something mean to Chad, his body just goes into like spasms because he can't take it. When they receive criticism, everything, the world stops. And all that exists is this moment right now. And even if they just said the color blue, they'll say, I never said blue. And they mean it because whatever they're feeling is just taking over. And I find that more dangerous than people that yell and scream and shout.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Because it's a delusion.
Mm-hmm.
They're living in an alternate reality.
And it shows you people that are malleable and they won't change their opinion no matter what because change is weakness. And I will hold on to this no matter how much, I don't know what else to do. And that's dangerous, yeah.
All right, so there's just a couple clips here that we want to go over. But here's an example of, I think, what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken. Let me pull our screen back up.
And stuff. Like, I've actually talked to the lady. We started off in a bad way because whatever. There was a miscommunication in a Gavin Discord. I was in there fucking around one day and whatever.
We're talking about Missy B.
Yeah. And just to set this up, he watches me say that when I mentioned Missy B to him, he got a little emotional and he just started kind of rambling for a really long time.
Right.
And talking about how they have this, clearly palpable history together. And this is him proving what I just said wrong.
Okay.
Whatever. There was a miscommunication in a Gavin Discord. I was in there fucking around one day and whatever. She ran with that on WATP. I sent in a super chat to chip at her on a fucking show. Whatever. They always acted very weird back in those days. And of course I was Satan because I was on Stuttering John show at the time. But whatever. Long story short, explain myself. Why I don't really have to explain myself. I don't know. Should I explain this in great detail?
No.
Yeah, it's a lot, but it was a year ago, man.
Speed this up to 1.5.
And a year ago, I was on Stuttering John show, and I was hanging out in. The one message that I did wasn't coded. What I was trying to explain is Cardiff, Bedabbler, other people I know personally were like, hey, why don't you do this while you're on Stuttering John show? Why don't you do this? They were like feeding me ideas while I was on the show of things I could do to fuck with them. And I did those things. And you can ask multiple people, hey, like, what did you do? And they'll explain what they sent me stuff. My favorite one, and I'll never forget it, is Bedabbler sending me the Cravon Martin, his son, Cravon Burrow. And it was just a picture of fucking Cravon Martin. And we convinced him that was his illegitimate son. Is the funniest shit of all time, dude. That is coded shit. The message, I had Stuttering John one day send Missy a message to the camera. I said, why don't you say this stuff? Like, oh, I had him explain how he's okay with sitting next to a Proud Boy, how he's okay with Jesus Christ, how he's okay with people being a conservative, how he's okay with people watching like Alex Jones and shit. I can't remember. It was a list of like 6 things I had him say to the camera and be like, all right, say that to Anthony and Missy for me. And he did it. So whatever. Not very coded, very right in your fucking face is what it was.
Did they ever pay you any money?
Thanks for proving me wrong.
Got it.
Long story short.
Yeah, I know. It's always the kiss of death right there.
This is why I love this so much, because I asked Rob Saul, hey, buddy, what keeps you up at night?
Yep.
And he's like, fuck me, fuck you. What do you mean by ex? I don't think. And it just started. I said, hey, sounds like you got a lot going on with Missy B. Is something going on over there? Mm-hmm. And this guy said, something going on over there. Let me show you how little is going on over there.
Yes.
2.5 minutes later, he's going, Alex Jones, Rush Limbaugh, Tucker Carlson. Like, dude, we just asked about your ex, and now you're like talking about the pyramids. What's going on? You think that comment was out of line? Thank you for showing us how it should be done.
In his defense, he's like 3 hours into the episode at this point, so he might be.
How is that a defense? No one asked him to do a show. No one asked.
I know.
Like, he can have a fucking opinion about this stuff. How could he just say, "Oh yeah, we used to fight, now we're friends. She's awesome." What is this? I just said it sounds like you have something. Rob Saul, by the way, is in that chat right there calling me a faggot because I asked him what he does at night.
Yep.
That's all I
Only
said.
been nice to Rob. Actually, been too nice to Rob.
There was no negative to Quad. I said,
Right.
"What's going?" Sounds like there's a lot. Yeah.
Now, the other thing you were talking to Quad about on the show was the whole thing with Shuli and TSN, and Quad Father loves that there's a.
Oh, you mean my
PDF
full-time
file.
job of?
Yeah, there's a
Okay.
PDF file involved, so it makes it great and great fodder for everyone because that's my enemy. So good thing that happened, and you kind of called him out on that, and so this is him responding to that. I think in the show. Am I right? On this next clip.
I believe so.
Okay.
Oh, quickly forgivable, but in other people, I guess it's not. Oh,
This is.
No, I never said other people were forgivable for having odd timing for their employees having pedophilia problems. I don't think that came up twice in this episode.
Yes.
okay. After I asked him what he thought Shuli or anybody in this situation should do outside of what they'd done, he couldn't come up with anything.
Right.
So he said it was more about the timing. And I reported that back. So he hears that and he goes, I never said anything about the timing. Why would I say anything about the timing? That has nothing to do with the situation, the timing. Cut to 5 minutes earlier.
Yeah, this is just a few minutes before he said that.
Like, what is he
Kinda
supposed to
clown
do?
you with the books?
Yeah, and mainly it was just the timing of everything after the.
There are plenty of reasons that are real and genuine to not like Shuli Agar. It doesn't have to be that. And if you don't like hearing that and bringing it up, then I wouldn't.
No, I mean, I always.
Well said.
Now, why did I say that to him? Because I was giving him an out. I was letting him know you don't have to switch whatever team you think that means to just drop this and move on since you hate hearing about it so much. By the way, his response to why he has to make those jokes and say those things is because he says, people keep bringing it up. I have to say something. Quad, you were the only one who brought it up over and over again and made me talk about it. I didn't. You hated that Carl doxed that guy. So you repeated his name over and over and over. Well, I had to do the segment. We did the same fucking segment, never mentioned his name, never even talked about it. It was just called being a gentleman or trying to be a nice person. And he doesn't see any of this. And it breaks my heart because he's a good guy. He's open to it. He yells at you for not having an opposing view on Point Dabble Point. He needs to be it. We're looking.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking. This guy needs to be it. Come on.
I'll send him an invite next time.
Please.
We're also trying to get Clay Dabbler on the
That'd
show.
be
We were
amazing.
sending him the link during the show on Monday because he was in the chat. Like, come on and give us your take on it.
Please.
We're not opposed to opposing viewpoints.
No, we can't find any. No one's keeping them from the screen. We just can't find them. And when you refuse to come on, Quad, you'll have your answer as to why we don't have any opposing views on. It's because you won't come on.
It's also interesting when people say, well, that's what people want me to talk about. That's what everyone's bringing up, or that's what they're talking about. We are watching so many people who are ruled by their chat. I have examples of Opie coming up. Of course, we just did the segment on Scorch. who's just being controlled. The entire show is being controlled by the chat room. Why would you do that to yourself? And then say it's out of my hands. I don't know what to tell you. It's what everyone's talking about. You be what everyone's talking about.
It's called leadership.
Right.
Also, when they say it's out of their hands, do they mean to say I have no content other than that?
Well, yes. I mean, that's really what's going on.
That's the subtext, right?
Yes.
Okay.
See, and you'll say that to him, and it'll end right there. He won't go, oh, maybe I should do a bigger show. He'll go,
Show.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to that, the discussion, because I watched the clip where he was talking about, well, Adam, he knew what I meant when I said that WTP is scripted, but he was just, I guess he's used to scripts. And I was just saying that, they have a plan and everyone follows the plan, what they're going to do. And Adam astutely pointed out to me in a note, just like, yeah, like how else would we do a show like this where we have clips that we've pulled ahead of time and then react to them? You can't just like be like, all right, which random clip should we go to now? It's like, no. Someone actually decided which shows we should watch, pulled clips from it, and then we discuss those clips all in a segment together to make it cohesive, and then we move on to the next thing after that.
And he pulled a clip, Carl, of you on a show saying, somebody's like, should we talk about Steel Toe now? And you're like, oh, no, we were going to talk about Steel Toe. Maybe we'll talk about this instead. And then you talk about it, and he showed this clip, and he goes, see what happens when you don't follow the plan or the script? Quad, we're not going to spend any time pulling the 6 different times just on this last show. You said, we're going to talk about these 4 topics. Which one do you want to talk about now? Okay, right. Let's talk about the other one. All these things you're trying to prove, once you prove them, I don't know what happens then. What do you have when you prove that Shuley found out a week before he announced it? Then what? What are you going to do with that information? You find out that Carl decides what he's going to talk about ahead of time. It's public knowledge. Now what? Where do we go from here?
I literally went on Ray DeVito's show. This is over a year ago now. And I was trying to teach him how to run a well-run podcast. And I shared my screen. I've never done this before. I've never done it since. But I showed him my notes. I'm like, here's an example. This is yesterday's show, WATP. And I scrolled down and I go, here's all the notes I have, the numbers of the clips that I'm going to pull, and some ideas that I have about what I want to talk about and different things. And Ray goes, write down 3 bullet points. Got it.
Also, I like turtles.
like, I mean, this isn't. I'm not hiding anything. This is what the show has always been from the get-go. But I want to thank people who are here hanging out with us live on YouTube, and they're participating in the show by going to supertip.gg/WATP. That's where you can go to support your friends at WATP, like Hughesy's Heinous Goutfoot, formerly named Taft.
Oh. Can I ride on Dr. Steve's skyplane? I want to go to Hawaii!
Yeah, Dr. Steve will be in a skyplane.
Does it have to be that Rosie? Why can't it be any other Rosie?
Oh, that's the Rosie that we all love the most.
The other sister Rosie. The stepsister,
that's the
half-sister.
Thank you!
The double sister.
My 3 sisters. Ride the bus.
Keep taking shots, losers. I don't even care or watch you. My people are in talks with Rob Saul and our Doggy Lovers podcast collab. We'll soon rule the Dabbleverse. Go screw.
Thank you, Siegfried Line. Anonymous says, just a minute, Adam. You know where Snyder kept his foot-tickling paraphernalia?
Actually, I probably, yeah. I never lied about it. I probably do.
It's probably in his office. In the cabinet. The creepy cabinet.
I never worked for Dan Schneider.
James P. says, Chad's laugh today was insane.
It was really uncomfortable.
I got to find that. That's
It's
fun.
wild.
Beef Drippins. Adam, how was it interviewing your unfinished clone?
What was that? Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Oh, twins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Noreb Nibarak became a YouTube member. Thank you very much for becoming a member. We did 3 bonus episodes just this month. We do 2 every month at least, it turns out. Carl, you introduced LT Critic to Shuley. Creep. LT Critic. Oh, Looney Tunes. Yeah, I don't know where that came up. I did not introduce Looney Tunes Critic to Shuley.
Oh, you didn't groom him for Shuley?
No, I met him through Shuley's network. I have nothing to do with that. All right. Let's get into the main thing I wanted to talk about today, and that is Erik Griffin. And honestly, this started out as a
Cringe of the week. Cringe of the week.
Because I was watching the Adam Carolla show, and he had Erik Griffin on as a guest, and I went, all right, well, let's see. He's with some competent people, or at least one competent person. Can he actually hold a conversation? Can he be amusing? Can he be interesting? Because we always see him on Golden Hour with Chris D'Elia and Brendan Schaub. And we go, oh my gosh, I can't handle these conversations. These people are. I was watching some of it today, the latest episode, to figure out if I wanted to pull some clips from that, and it's mind-boggling. This show, it's so bad. But I thought, all right, we'll give him a chance here, and see how he does on the Adam Carolla show. I just saw Chrissy Mayer on the Adam Carolla show recently. She did a great job. Usually Adam's one of these guys. He's been in radio so long. Actually, I've heard him say this before. He's gone into dressing rooms, like when he was on TV and stuff, and he would tell the guests, hey, no pressure on you. The show's going to be good or bad because of me, so don't worry about it. You just be you. We're going to have a great time. Because he knows how to run a show. And so he's not counting on the guests to bring anything. So this is a pretty low pressure. Now, there's an audience there. There's people watching. But it's a pretty low pressure. Griffin's been in Hollywood for a long time. Been a comedian and an actor and stuff. So you'd think that he'd be very good at this kind of thing. Well, it starts out. They're talking about this. Obviously, Bill Maher went to dinner with Trump. And then Bill Maher went on his show and talked about it and explained how it all went down and what his experience was. So then you get Larry David writing an essay where he talks about his fun dinner with Hitler. And it's really just calling out Bill Maher for doing this. And so Bill Maher is on his show Club Random with Piers Morgan. And they're responding to Larry David. Larry David and Bill Maher are friends. They're both liberal comedians in Hollywood, been there a very long time. And so it was kind of surprising that he took the shot that he did. And so they're watching the response on the Adam Carolla show. I want to set it up with this first, and then we'll get Erik Griffin's take on this. Does that all make sense? Seemed like a lot.
All right. What do you got, Mayhem?
All right. Bill Maher has reacted to Larry David's insulting my dinner with Adolf essay.
Oh,
It's an
yeah.
argument
Doesn't
you
like it.
lost just to start it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this wasn't, my favorite moment of our friendship, but, look, I don't want to get in too much into that, but I think the minute you play the Hitler card,
That's what I think.
you've lost the argument.
Yes.
Okay. And then it goes on for a little while, but that's the main crux of the thing, that Bill Maher's response to what Larry David did.
And for those listening, Griffin's response or contribution to this so far was to cough loudly into the microphone and then turn his head away.
Smart. Yeah, he's been doing this a long time. And I just want to point out this Mayhem guy who's now the news reader on the show and kind of the main sidekick on the show. Slightly better than Allison Rosen and Gina Grad, but only slightly. Not quite sure what his deal is. He's like a MMA guy or something.
He looks like they gave security a speaking job, and he's wildly underprepared.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Ronnie the limo driver. We all see how that worked out. All right, so you just heard the take. Oh, as soon as you pull the Hitler card, you've kind of lost the argument. You've lost the plot. And so Erik Griffin is going to chime in with his hot take on this.
I saw the episode that when he talked about like his dinner, and I thought it was fascinating.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought it was a fascinating look from, because I watch that show all the time, so I know how he feels about Trump, and for him to go sit there and experience that, it said a lot about even Trump himself, about how he's being a certain way for like I said, the negative baiting and stuff like that. Whatever, I totally agree with Bill Maher about that. I'm so sick of people talking about Hitler, man.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
He came in there with a lot of confidence. He came in hot. He's like, "Oh yeah, hold on, guys. He was the first to talk. I got to take on this," and immediately got lost.
In summation, the first thing I said.
Yeah, he immediately got lost in that. I watched that show and I know about stuff and things and hamina, hibida, hubida.
Sometimes you realize how weak your argument is only once you start saying it and you hear it out loud and you see the reaction it's getting. They were all talking about, serious political ramifications, and he was just like, yeah, but it was like fun and cute, right? And so everyone go, no, this is perhaps deeper, and then just started scrambling.
He's scrambling, and that's why I was talking about, is he nervous? He shouldn't be nervous on this show, but it seems that way because he really lost track of what he was saying. And on the other shows that he's on, he starts going down this road, and Chris Lee is going to start talking over him, and Brendan Schaub's going to start laughing hysterically, and they just move on. It's all good. But on a professional show, they go, no, go ahead.
That's interesting.
What's your take? And he's like, oh shit, they're letting me talk more? Uh-oh.
I'm not used to having to have an ending. Shit.
Yes.
Not to mention, you got Chris D'Elia and Brendan Schaub bailing you out with noise.
Right.
That's sad.
It's pathetic. And so then 10 minutes later on the show, they're talking about how Diddy's defense is going to be that he was in a drug haze, and so he's not responsible for the freak-offs or whatever was going on.
Oh, you can say that?
Well, they're saying, no, it's a really terrible defense.
Oh.
Is really the point that they're making here. And so right after he said, yeah, I'm so tired of this Hitler stuff, listen to the joke that Erik Griffin repeats twice in a row without adding anything to it.
Yeah, you're responsible for what happens when you are in a state.
Yeah, if Hitler was beaked up on
he could have been
all
like,
sorts of stuff.
I love Jews. He would have said that,
It's just when I do speed.
Hitler was like, I love Jews, but did coke. I took some.
Opium makes you anti-Semitic. It's science.
You know what I mean? It's like it's so ridiculous.
So Adam Carolla threw out the Hitler joke. Yeah, he was also on drugs. And then Erik Griffin repeated it twice. Mayhem repeated it again. They didn't add anything to it. They're all just going, yeah, Hitler loved Jews. He was on drugs. When he liked Jews, when he was sober. Huh? Waka waka.
For those who were just listening, it looked like somebody flipped a switch and turned on Griffin. He just exploded with all of this, like, oh, I'm a sidekick emotion, and just started hitting with all this over the top laughter.
But he repeated the same joke twice in a row without changing it. And I think he's used to being around hacks that do that sort of thing. So I was embarrassed for him on this. And I wasn't going into this thinking, like, honestly, I didn't watch this thinking, oh, this will be good fodder for WATP. I was watching this because I watch Adam Carolla from time to time. And I thought the topics that were on the thumbnail were interesting. So I'm like, oh, okay, let's see what their take is. And then I went, oh, this is cringe of the week. And then I went, hold on a second. We got to figure out what else Erik Griffin is up to. And I'm happy to report he does have a solo podcast. I don't know how this has escaped our radar, Riffin with Griffin, for all this time. We're going to get into that in a second, but I want to talk a little bit more about this appearance with Adam Carolla because I really think he dropped the ball on it. They're talking about the LAPD shooting Jillian Lauren, who's Scott Schreiner's wife, the bassist of Weezer. This is pretty big news in the last week or two. Everyone has heard about this. And so they're bringing this up, and they're all a little confused. They don't know how many rounds were shot and what happened. They're watching video that came out, and they're trying to make sense of it.
She racks a round in the chamber, and at that point the gun's ready to fire. So the cops took preventative measures and emptied 3 clips at her, only hitting her once in the shoulder.
That's always the most disturbing part. I heard like 13 shots and 1 grazed her.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck are they shooting at?
Okay. So it's been established. 1 shot in the shoulder, and it grazed her. Now listen to what Erik Griffin says not long after that.
Oh, haven't they done an autopsy on her already? Like,
no, she's alive.
Yeah,
I thought she was dead.
Alive.
Got hit in the shoulder. You know what
I
like?
That was only it? I thought that she... Oh, my God.
White lady.
Even Mayhem laughed at him. Autopsy? We just said they barely even hit her with all those shots they fired.
Yeah, but just in case.
Are you paying attention? Are you paying attention to this?
As he was not. When the info was being released, he was on his phone. He was checking his phone, and everyone saw it. You're sitting at a table with 3 men, and they all saw this serious topic come up, and you check out and then come back as if you knew what you were talking about and wildly misread.
And Adam, you're very observant. So you saw that, and I saw that too. But he said hit her in the shoulder, and then Adam said after he put his phone down, it only grazed her. So he still should have known. He's not paying attention.
No, he's not.
He's just out of it.
Mhm.
And I love that you just said he wanted to act like he knew, even though he didn't, because this comes up after that.
I like her husband because Weezer didn't cancel their Coachella gig.
Say it ain't so.
No, they they played 2 days
Well,
later.
Aren't they divorced though?
Oh, were they?
Yeah, I don't know if they're together.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think he cares about her like that.
No, maybe he sent the cops to the hitman.
I don't know. I like her.
They are not divorced. They have 2 children. They've been married since 2005. I don't know why Erik Griffin said that. If you look at the headlines around this, they're everywhere. It says Weezer's bassist wife was shot by the LAPD. You couldn't avoid this story that came out. Erik Griffin did zero prep, doesn't know anything about it, even though they're showing the video and explaining what happened, but then throws out I think they're divorced and he doesn't give a shit about her. I mean, even if they are divorced, they have kids together. I'm sure he'd give a shit about the mother of his children being shot.
He's so not paying attention that he came up with this like passing joke that he didn't realize completely deflated the entire argument that was just made about what was happening. He didn't just make a bad joke and not pay attention. He tried to ruin what they just said, so it's like genuinely hostile.
Yeah, right. If I'm Adam, I'm pissed because Adam's like, very impressive though. The guy still played Coachella 3 days later.
Right.
And Erik Griffin goes, yeah, he doesn't give a shit about that bitch.
So what you just said is bullshit. Anyway.
Right, yeah.
What's in
He's
the
probably
news?
celebrating. with
Kind
the
of
fact-
undermines what we were talking about.
Thanks for that, asshole. Appreciate it. All right. Erik Griffin's YouTube channel, 72.7 thousand subs. This episode from 1 week ago, he does them live on Wednesdays, has 1,245 views. 1,245 views. Erik Griffin. Workaholics, Golden Hour, Adam Carolla Show, all those stand-up gigs that he does. 1,200 views.
But the good news is, if you watch that playlist backwards and you see all the videos, it's like he's growing and growing and growing and growing until there's almost 1 million when he started. Now,
It's like-
6 years later.
It's
down
like
to
that Dave Attell joke. I like to watch Girls Gone Wild backwards, so it looks like the girls learned their lesson. Being a slut isn't for me.
Hey, we should go.
Yeah.
Let's put our clothes on and get out of here.
All right, so Riffin with Griffin. This is how the show starts off. Erik fancies himself a singer, and I know, Adam, you are a talented vocalist. So I'm interested in your take on this.
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your favorite podcast. Whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah. Riffin with Griffin. Whoa, 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 yeah, yeah. Welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. What an episode we have today.
This is a guy with a lot of confidence. He had no confidence with Adam Carolla, but when it comes to whoa, 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 he's ready for it. In fact, it even says underneath his name on the screen, Erik Griffin, woo, 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 or whoa, whoa. I don't know what he's singing. I don't know.
It's only one person I could think of, and that's Opie, sitting in the wings going, this guy is nailing the intro. That's how you do it.
That's how you do it right there.
You just make noises randomly. He's recreating that thing like at Showtime at the Apollo when the comic comes out and they play the groove and everyone kind of acknowledges the beat for a second before we launch into the comedy.
Yeah.
The problem is this is really the entire show. He segues from the singing into just morning talk. At one point, 13 minutes later, he goes, all right, well, now it's time to start the show. And then he goes right back to talking about whatever he was talking about. That's it. That's it.
That's the joke.
The other problem is, making the Apollo reference, this is the whitest man I've ever seen on the podcast. He's wearing a Batman shirt. So even though he is a black man, there is no evidence of that at all on his show. So he goes from the singing into more singing, but also teasing the topics that are coming up. This is a topical show. This is the other thing that makes this Adam Carolla thing so funny, is that he does a show about the zeitgeist, the whatever's going on in culture and in media. He goes through all of the popular things that are going on. So you'd think he'd like keep up on that sort of thing. But this is him teasing the topics.
FDA is about to ban food coloring. See how I feel about that? And I saw some great shows, man. Daredevil. Oh my God, we got to talk about it. But welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. Whoa, 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 whoa. Riffin with Griffin.
I think he's doing that thing where I'm a comedian, so it doesn't have to be real good, but also it's pretty good though, right, guys? You know? I know it's not perfect, but I'm also trying to be funny. No, you're not. I see what you're doing. All right, so this is exciting. He's going to talk about banning food coloring. The FDA is talking about this, and he's going to have a take on that. I'm excited. In fact, I'm going to use that as my tease. We're going to get into his take on that later on in this segment, because I can't imagine what that's going to be. How do you feel about giving children poison? I'll tell you about that coming up.
No.
Stick around for that.
Turns out he's not into it.
Yeah, the anti-poison for children. Wow. Okay, good stuff, Carl. Glad we stuck around for that. Something that I've noticed about a lot of these guys that we hone in on is they're constantly talking about what they're going to do. I'm not doing the stuff I need to be doing right now, but I'm going to do it. And just you wait and see. My favorite example of this is when Chad told us he was going to be ripped with a six-pack by July.
Oh, yeah.
That was a few years ago.
Did that work out? What happened?
No, he actually got drunker and fatter.
Oh.
By July. I know. It was too bad. That was when he claimed that he was an alcoholic and we all took advantage of him.
He said that today. He
said that again
to
today?
you today, that you were criticizing him during his lowest moment, and how dare you?
All right, well, guess what? I'm going to announce right now. I am at my lowest moment right now, Chad. You better stop making fun of me. Whoa, Chris! You can't make fun of me at my lowest moments. Come on. So this is all the stuff that's coming up.
I just did. I gotta change my website. Ooh, which is coming. I'm talking to the guy. You know, I got a fun little website coming. So, plus my room, podcast room is coming. I swear.
Now, you know my motto on this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Just do it. Don't talk about it. Don't tell me it's going to get better. I have art that's going to go up on the wall. I don't bring it up every day. We're just going to get it up on the wall eventually, and then you'll see it.
The phrase podcast room just smacks of some argument he's currently having with his wife.
Oh, you picked up on that too. I'm like, why doesn't he say studio? Why isn't he saying studio? My podcast room. Well, you already have the basement, and now you have your podcast room, and we have a son now. It's just like,
Now, where's your band practice going to be?
yeah, right. Well, right. Riffin with Griffin could be a band too. It's a lot of riffs. I found out something about Erik Griffin I didn't know. So right now he's promoting his comedy club shows that are coming up. He's got the list of dates on there. But he's also entering into a certain part of his career as a comedian that we see with a lot of these guys.
And then I got a bunch of Matt Rife shows in between there at these stadiums and stuff that he's doing. So that's pretty great. So you want to check that out too, guys.
So he's opening for a real headliner. I shouldn't say real headliner. He's opening for a guy who sells out very large venues. And we saw this with Vic Henley. He was doing that with Ron White. We'd brag about it all the time. Chad Zumock, of course, loves opening for people who can sell tickets because he's not selling any of them. Kevin Brennan was doing this with Louis C.K. up until the fact that Louis C.K., I think, started banging a chick that he decided to make the feature act for him. But this is like what comedians who don't make it oftentimes do, or they don't make it to that level. They made it to a certain point. Erik Griffin's made it to a certain point, obviously. Like I saw Alonzo Bowden open for Seinfeld in Vegas. And you're like, oh, I know that name. But if he came to your local comedy club, you'd be like, we got to go see Alonzo Bowden. You know, you'd be like, oh, I saw him open for Seinfeld. It was pretty good. That's kind of more where that fits into. So I think Erik Griffin is making that transition into, guys, I have 20 minutes I can do. The audience will get warmed up for you. Can you just please put me on your tour, pay me a couple $1,000?
In the future, can you associate me with this good time you had?
You're right, yes.
Just to be clear, opening for a stadium show is just a good gig. It's really a high-paying, good gig that gets you exposure. I think we all know, and I'm assuming most comedians would agree that a stadium is not necessarily the best venue for stand-up comedy. For subtle spoken word. But if you get that big and you can service that kind of audience, you go for it. It's rare in comedy. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, for him to be a part of it, I think what we're seeing now, based on that Adam Carolla thing, is he's just checked out.
Yeah.
He's making money. He's got a bunch of gigs. He hasn't noticed that his audience has dwindled down to like 10% of what it started with, because he's probably still paying everybody and doing the thing. And nobody has corrected him in years. Even his friends. He was acting like a kid who hadn't left the house in a while, hanging out with Carolla. He just looked like he hadn't been around other men in a while. And he doesn't care. He's just doing his thing. People laugh. They don't. He's going to be in a good mood and collect his check and move on.
And I don't know if he's ever really cared that much, but yeah, I think you're right. And Matt Rife, that's an interesting person that he's teamed up with. That's a good one. I don't know how long that's going to last for, the Matt Rife thing. Who knows?
Are you ladies ready to get horny?
Yeah. People are just throwing panties at Erik Griffin. They're like, that's not for you.
They say you pick an opener that makes you look better. In bands, they'll sometimes limit your DB level, so you're not as loud as the headliner. Like, what does he have to offer that Matt Rife doesn't?
Yeah, Louis C.K. was like, Kevin, you do make me look a lot better, but this broad's going to make me look awesome.
Everyone has a political statement they want to make, and they're all hiding behind something with their opener choice.
Yeah, I've pointed this out many times. I've gone to see a lot of these theater shows where there's a guy who opens for the comic, and they're usually terrible, like surprisingly bad at comedy. Dean Del Rey opens for Bill Burr. I don't know if he still does, but he was for a long time. It's like Dean Del Rey wouldn't sell a ticket.
Dean Del Rey's good, but he's also the opposite of Bill Burr. He's not like thought out to the word, intellectual, like new experiences. He's a party drinking guy. Like, what was it? Letterman wanted Tom Snyder to go on after him, which is like his opener. You always want someone who's a little less or offers something else that you don't. It shows you how insecure Matt Rife is, that he'd be like, I need someone older.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah.
And yeah, totally from a different world.
All right. Erik Griffin is going to start with some hot takes here.
What's happening? Like, okay, right off the bat, let me just tell you something that's going on. Man, I got a bone to pick with Netflix, man. My God. Wait, why am I so... My head is getting cut off. I don't like that. What's going on there? You know what I mean? What is happening with that? But, okay, so Netflix, man, this is crazy.
What I like about this, first off, it's the Netflix Be Crazy Yo setup, which I'm like, wow, this is going to be a good segment. But also he realizes that he has no headspace in the shot, and he points it out. It seems to bother him, and he doesn't adjust anything. He doesn't touch the camera. He doesn't move his chair. He just goes, this is not good. I'm not sending it out. So anyway, Netflix is crazy.
I heard 3 people got fired immediately after.
I'm sure they did, yes. Well, let's find out why Netflix is so crazy. And Erik Griffin, this is a boomer move.
Wolf just got the remote, and he's just pressed the Netflix button, and he's just pressing, and the next thing you know, I'm being charged $9 a month. It shouldn't be that easy, Netflix. You know what I'm saying? A 14-month-old should now be able to grab the remote, press 3 buttons, and now I'm being charged $9 a month? That's crazy. So I actually had to call Netflix. They have customer support, which I actually didn't think was a thing. Normally it's like, some bot or some AI or there's like certain hours, but it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and because I was up, I came home from the club.
He called Netflix. So his son hits the remote, signs him up for whatever, a shared account or something. It costs him more in his account. So he picks up the phone at 3 a.m. and calls Netflix. Any normal person would go on the website, Netflix.com, I believe is the address. Mm-hmm. They'd log into their account, and they deactivate whatever was just activated. He has to call a person and be like, I don't know, Mr. Netflix. I don't know what my account number is or my password, but can you make sure I don't have to pay him $9 a month more than I'm paying?
And then let's take it a step further. That experience happened, and he went, I have got to make this a segment on my show.
It's the first thing he talked about.
You nailed it. You nailed exactly what we're seeing. This is that boomer thing. I used to say as a joke, oh, yeah, I'm on the Facebook. I used to say the Facebook until I realized nobody thought I was kidding. I look and act like a person who would call it the Facebook. I don't know much about him, but I'm assuming he does not realize that he has turned into a dad. He has not made that transition, and he still thinks he's cool and doesn't realize these are dad jokes and dad takes, and the second dad picks up the phone to call a website, 80% of your audience is laughing at you, not with you.
I didn't even know they had customer support. No one does. None of us are looking for Netflix customer support.
I can't buy everything in this story because if you got home from the club at 3 a.m., this is what you're doing.
Yeah.
So either you didn't get home from the club at 3 a.m. and this is what you're doing.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Or the opposite.
Yeah.
Either way, it's very John. John also had Netflix and Mr. Amazon and Mr. Netflix on speed dial.
And Patreon. Let's not forget that.
Oh, he met with them too.
Got a big meeting with the CEO of Patreon about Carl linking to Discord. Very interested in that. So then Erik Griffin doesn't really have a lot to say about this except for what we already heard, but just keeps repeating it over and over again.
It's crazy that a baby could grab the remote and just pressing buttons, you're now charged for a new service.
Yep. It's crazy, man. I know. I mean, I thought it was crazy the first time you said it, but now I'm convinced how crazy.
But it's new information. I didn't even know this was going on, so I'm happy that he's hipping me to the new stuff.
The guy has no takes on anything. This is the thing that I've learned about Erik Griffin. He's so milquetoast. He wraps up this little segment about Netflix be crazy, yo.
Absolutely bananas. So that's what's going on with that, though. Kid is a cutie, though.
You'll hear him chuckle often on the show. It's tough doing a show by yourself, I understand. But it's like Dr. Hibbert has his own podcast. He's like, he does it a lot. You're going to hear multiple examples of this. But it'd be bananas, yo. It'd be crazy, y'all.
And you're right. I think he's used to being in a group of people, and he keeps laughing and looking around at no one, expecting someone to step in and save him.
It's funny that the Golden Hour guys, Chris D'Elia has his own solo show. Brendan Schaub has his own solo show. I think he still does. I haven't looked in a while. And, of course, Erik Griffin has this one. They're all terrible at it.
Yeah.
They're really bad in the group, but at least they can talk over each other and scream, and there's producers to look at. And, hey, man, didn't you say you saw a thing on a website or something? Can we Google something for our audience? When it's just a guy like Erik Griffin sitting there for an hour.
Yeah. I know D'Elia does the same thing, just laughs at nothing.
Yep.
I hope someone does a deep dive. I hope we do it here of Chris D'Elia's new special. It is one for the Smithsonian.
Bonus show.
Yep.
Andy, you want to come on WTP bonus show and do Chris D'Elia special?
I would love to.
Maybe we can get Blind Mike on too.
I never appreciated how Louis C.K. addressed his situation because he's so smart and nuanced about everything else, but he had such a general passing take on his own stuff. What Chris D'Elia does, the performance, he thinks he's in A Few Good Men. He thinks he's Jack Nicholson on the stand. He has to force tears like John looking up. Anyway, I would love to get into that.
Save it for the bonus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God.
That's exciting. I'm into it. I'm ready. Now, so you just heard him transition into, but he's a cutie. So he's talking about his 14-month-old son, and boy, is he a proud papa. This goes on for quite a while where he tells you about how cute his kid is and how the kid falls asleep in his arms and he walks around the house with the kid asleep. And it's just things that if you were catching up with a buddy, you'd be staring up at ESPN going, oh, the Yankees up by 3 runs. Huh? All right, cool. Are they bringing in a relief pitcher or what do you think's going on here? Because this is boring.
So today I put him down on the couch and I put on Miss Rachel. You know, he loves Miss Rachel. So he's just looking, chilling, watching Miss Rachel. Yeah, I think I have a video of that too. Yeah, I do. Yeah, let's look at that. So I have him, he's watching this video of Miss Rachel, and, just in the living room, chilling. And,
here we go. Here's the video.
You know what I mean? Just locked in. You know what I mean? Kid is locked in, right?
You know what I mean? He says that a lot too. There's a lot. He talks a lot without saying anything on this show. I have examples of that coming up. But this idea that there's a 7-second clip of his son watching television, and he's like, can you guys believe it? Now, Chris D'Elia and Brendan Shaw would be like all over it. Oh man, my kid does this, blah, blah, blah. And they'd be all excited about this.
My kid's more locked in than yours.
They'd be all excited about this. By the way, his kid might be smarter than he is. The kid was able to sign up for a Netflix account.
That is true.
It's just the remote control. Erik Griffin's a retard. So there's that. But
he might be slow.
I can't think of anything more boring than showing a video of, he's a very proud papa. So, he wants to show off. He's got another photo that he wants to show us.
And then he climbs on me, and then
that's the workout.
This is what we end up being. You know what I mean? Because he just on me, man. I don't know.
By the way, Erik Griffin looks a lot like my former co-host Kevin. Did you notice that?
I was thinking it.
It's like, holy shit, is that Kevin?
Mix between Kevin and DG.
Oh shit. A little DG in there too.
Wow.
All right, so there's a photo of his son sleeping on him and he's making a face. Who is this for?
Yeah.
This would be for his family.
Yeah.
Right? Proud grandparents, aunts and uncles, mom. This is not anything that his podcast audience would care about, which is why he's had 1,200 views on this show in a week.
Katy Perry just launched this tour, and everyone's making fun of it. I don't know if you've seen any clips.
I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it raises that question, like, she doesn't have any friends. No one
Right. No one's
can
telling
tell
her.
And you look at this stuff, and it's like, it's easy to hate on the Katy Perry. It's hard to hate on a guy being like, I love my son. Isn't he awesome sleeping? But there is that part of me that's like, yes, I love it too. But this is not a show.
Yeah,
and someone needs to tell you that.
channel.
And as a parent, you have that moment where you realize, like, oh, every parent feels this way. I have to rein it in a little. Like, this is a little silly. I can't. No one's told him that.
No one's told him that. No, everyone thinks that their little boy is the cutest little boy in the world.
As they should. But it's not a show for more than 1,100 people.
He's got a big family.
My favorite take.
It won't go on Facebook, so this is all they get, yeah.
My favorite take on Katy Perry, there was a tweet that Anthony Cumia put out where it shows her doing that stupid dance that everyone's making fun of. And he wrote, thank God we're allowed to use the word retarded again, because there's no other way to describe this. Thought that was eloquent. All right, so talking about the family, talking about the kid for a long time, and then we segue into the next segment of the show.
It's pretty amazing. So that's Wolf. He's getting big. It's pretty amazing, this thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go. I haven't done this in a while, but let's get some. I think I haven't done the comments in a while.
I thought I was going to say content.
I haven't responded. Let's see.
Are we interrupting something, sir? Yeah. I'm sorry. You told us to be here at this time, so we thought we should show up. But
something's wrong. The big fat guy isn't laughing. He's not being jolly.
He got all choked up looking at photos of his kid, and then he was lost for a second there. Amazing.
His podcast. If he invited me over to his house and then did that, I'd be like, okay, I guess I gotta go. You don't want to be, and don't want us here.
So you just heard what he's segueing to, reading comments. I went, whoa, this is gonna get worse? What are you talking about? You're reading comments. Now, I assumed you'd be reading the people who are chatting, because this is a live show, and there's almost no one chatting. There's no one watching. There's no one chatting. What he literally does is he goes back to old videos he's posted and finds comments. And this is him reading a comment and reacting to it.
Let's see. Some girl, Jennifer Barefoot, says, Matt needs a dad. He has the best dad friend. Listen to him, Matt. He's so right. Yeah, Matt.
What the fuck was that? Some random person wrote something I don't understand out of context. Cool.
This Saturday, old internet news.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Exactly. Like, what's the point of this? Who cares what somebody commented?
And his contribution to it was to slightly dismiss her. Some girl.
Yeah.
Your fan who supports you and left a comment about it.
All right, so he finally gets into some content, and he's talking about Shannon Sharp's accuser. There's a $50 million civil suit, and Shannon Sharp was, I guess, dating or sleeping with this girl who's much younger than him, and now she's decided that it was inappropriate and bad things happened, and she was essayed and stuff like that. So this is Erik showing photos, because it just recently came out. You know, it wasn't Jane Doe, but now we know who this accuser is. And she has an OnlyFans account and an Instagram. So he's checking that out. Listen to the brilliant commentary he has when describing Shannon Sharp's accuser.
Let's just take a look and see what we're working with here, okay? Oh. I mean, they met at the gym, apparently. She got 500,000 followers. And, I don't know. What are we going to say here? I mean, she's also an OnlyFans model, okay? This is her OnlyFans. Ooh, here we go. Now you talking, girl. Yeah. Stop flirting with that fruit. Yeah. You know what I mean? What we talking about?
Hamburger.
Okay, so
What the fuck was that? So
That
this is
was.
the girl, and yeah, I mean, do you know what I mean?
Fruit.
What? Is
Okay,
she
we're
hot?
We're going to show you a bunch of pictures of really hot women while your wife watches you. Go.
You're right. That's what that was. I guess if you like attractive, skinny blonde girls.
Is that watermelon?
I
Is that cassava melon? Oh, that looks real good. That looks real good. The rest
That
of it?
was so lame. This guy never has a take on anything.
It's because he doesn't have a podcast room yet.
As soon as I get that room.
He's going to have a sign that says takes on. Don't come in here when the takes on sign is on. It's happening. All right, so this is more like a perfect example of him talking a lot without saying anything.
you know, that's no ifs, ands, or buts. No pun intended, you know? And then when you're on her profile, like a lot of the hot girls on the Instagram right now, you click a link. And where does this link take you? Oh, VIP OnlyFans. Okay, so whatever that means to you, if you're into that, this is the kind of girl that, you know, he likes.
Whatever that means. Here's her OnlyFans account. Whatever that means, if you're into that sort of thing, because for me, like girls getting naked on the internet, I'm like, whoa, I have a wife.
Don't know anything about it. So when you see an OF charge on the bill, that's not me, because I clearly said right now, I don't even know about it. What's the date? What's the date right? So I clearly don't know.
Whatever that means to you, if you're into that. I mean, go ahead and explain it to the audience. What does that mean? What are you saying? He's not saying anything.
And just for the record, if this were a Cardiff game and he just let us read that entire response, everyone would vote Stuttering John.
You're right.
So she's got a thing, and I gotta go. And what happens? I have to pay. Like, it's the same thing. Something's going wrong over here.
You heard me tease earlier that he's going to have a hot take on food coloring and the FDA cracking down on certain types of food coloring. So I was excited to get to this part of the show because I didn't know what kind of hot take you have on this, but he starts talking about RFK Jr.
You know, and he's not as good as they say he is. He's not as bad as they say he is. But what I'm trying to say is I think this is a good thing. I think the things that he's trying to do in terms of like, you know, looking at food, I think is important.
You think the FDA looking at food is important? I do too, Eric. Seems like what they should be doing, actually. Seems specifically what they should be up to. Looking at food.
And I'm sorry to repeat myself, but if anyone heard just that dialogue, would they not be convinced that was an Opie take?
That's so Opie. And I actually, this next clip I have, I wrote down, this is Opie level conspiracy talk.
You know what I mean? The vaccine companies are hiding everything that they're doing, and the food people are hiding everything that they're doing.
They sure are, Eric. You got to watch out for those food people and those vaccine people.
I have no thoughts. Nothing.
This is, who would tune in for this? Who would, know about what's going on with the FDA and be like, I wonder what Erik Griffin has to say about this. He's just like, yeah, it seems like a good thing that they would like want to get rid of these food colorings that aren't used in any other country because they've been found to be harmful to humans. So they decided to probably get those out of the food. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Okay, cool. I'll be on my way then.
I'm so glad you asked who's listening to this, because I did a little bit of research, and from what I could gather, and you see it on a lot of shows, this is the chat. This is the chat that has remained since it was, 500,000, 1 million an episode now to 1,200. These are those 1,200 that have been there since the beginning, because what they're talking about in the chat and what they're liking, and they're all positive, they're all supporting it. These are their friends. They've spent the last 2 decades with this person, and it's a real relationship for them, and he can do no wrong. Just hearing about his day, hearing his voice is what they do every day, and that's why he's so unfunny right now, because this is the world he's surrounded in. On top of that 1,000 people that are supporting every giggle he makes, there's one guy that works for him every day when he leaves and goes into his car that says, hey, you killed it today, and he believes that guy. That's the guy he trusts. So as far as he knows, he's killing it.
But you're right. When you see a chat room where everyone's just talking to each other, when we used to watch Stuttering John's political show, and it was Benny Loco and Andrea and whoever else were the moderators back then.
Kinky Loco.
Not Kinky Loco, but I forget who the other one was. But anyway, they would be in there and just like saying hi to each other, and then a new person would come in and say hi to them, and then they would say hi back to them again, and then they'd be talking about their day or what they have going on later. No one's paying attention to this.
Yeah.
Erik Griffin is just like, oh, this is where my friends hang out. I'll just go hang out with my friends for an hour on Wednesday.
That's the core of every fandom. Those are the people hanging on when the band no longer makes good music. They're not there for the music. They're there for this community that they've built. You see that in the TSN chat all the time. It's exactly what you described. It's friends that are supported, saying hi to each other, and there's also a band playing. Good. It's just an excuse for us to get drunk. That's what's happening.
Shots fired at the Shoey Network.
Not shots fired. It's the opposite of what Kevin Brennan is doing when he's saying, you didn't pay me $5 this month. Let me dox your son.
Right.
It's cultivating an audience. It's, it's not entertainment, but it's a part of it that you need for a long-term career. That's all he has left on this project.
Well, this is my last clip on here kind of sums up the show and the hot takes that we get from Erik.
And make a difference. That's what I think. So hopefully this will be the change, that we need. You know what I mean?
Yep. Good stuff.
Who is he talking to?
No one. He's got nothing. It was going back to my earlier example of when I talked to Ray DeVito and I told him how to run a successful podcast, and he went 3 bullet points. Got it. That's what this was. He took a couple photos of his kid earlier that day. He had 3 things he wanted to talk about. He had 0 takes for any of them. Yeah, I guess this girl's like an OnlyFans girl or something. I don't know what that, if you're into that sort of thing. I guess Shannon Sharp's like into like girls who are young and attractive. I don't know. It's not for me, but what?
I could do that. I'm confused by everything.
Right. You'd be perfect for this show.
He has settled into celebrity and given up being a comedian.
I think you're right. Thank God Adam's not a celebrity, because we'd hate to see that you settle down.
Yeah, or a comedian.
Settle into that. All right, coming up.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
I still have to talk about Scorch and the Olive Branch that Anthony Cumia reached out with to our buddy Scorch. Opie. We're going to get into what Opie's up to. We got 2 minutes with Tom. But first, I want to thank people who are supporting this program, and thank you for being here live with us on a Wednesday night. Of course, you can go to supertip.gg/WATP like Nancram over here.
Hey, Carl, remember what you said on April 15th on the Creep Off?
Yes, if you are trying to get a girl to talk to you, don't talk about how you're smelling your fingernails. I still stand by it. Never told Jingle about my sniffing fetish, and I closed the deal.
Nobody cares.
Wow.
Seems like fiction. I'm not sure what to make of that. Waver became a member. Thank you very much for becoming a member of the YouTube channel. Of course, you get 2 bonus episodes every single month, and you can watch the live shows on Saturdays that we do. It's also behind the paywall at 2 p.m. Eastern. So thank you for being a member. Rocco Orby says, Erik Griffin's kids' stories are so boring, they make me reminisce of one woke dad's nonsense stories. Yeah, at least he makes shit up that's interesting. You're like, well, that didn't happen, but it's fun that we're in your head right now.
There's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and a hero.
Gonzo, member for 20 months, says, great show, boys, but I miss that dude podcast Hitman. He was a great guy. Whatever happened to him?
Funny story, yeah.
I actually have to get back to him. He now has texting capabilities at the jail, so I got to get on with him and get it set up. I want to get him on the show.
Please do.
I know. We gotta make that happen.
That'd be amazing.
I don't know if it'd be amazing, but it'd be interesting.
Of course it would. Somebody direct from prison who wants to not talk about that, but talk about podcasts. It shows you how far this delusion can go.
Well, I would be interested to hear, because he's missing everything. He doesn't have really access to the internet. So I'm sure he'd want to like get caught up on everything that's going on in the Dabbleverse and everything that's new. That'd be an interesting conversation to have.
And that's exactly why I'm here. That is so great. The idea that somebody in prison is like, what? John got a haircut?
He's like, is Opie still doing therapy and getting better?
Did he make his flight to Atlanta? Did he get to the wedding? I got to know.
Yeah. So Anthony's canceled, right? He's probably not even allowed to internet anymore, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about Scorch real quick.
Some are odd and some deranged stories that are very strange. Weird news.
So I talked about this on the previous episode of Who Are These Podcasts, that Anthony put out a tweet linking to Scorch's live stream and then chatted in the chat with Scorch and said, hey, man, hope you're doing well. Something like that. And Scorch was like, that's not Anthony Cumia. I'm like, oh, maybe it is. So then he did find out that it was Anthony and that Anthony was the one who was promoting Scorch. And Anthony was really cool about it, too. He's like, guys, Scorch is a great guy. Go support him. Check out his show. So nothing nefarious involved in it. So Scorch decided to put out a stream just for Anthony to hear. Go for it. I don't know why this right here encapsulates Scorch so well. It's everything you could think about. He's in a motorhome in a chair that was built in the 60s or 70s, I would say. Like a pleather chair.
Yeah, the previous owner died on, probably.
You would stick to that if any of your skin was exposed. It would probably pull your skin off.
And if I were to show you just that clip you just showed us and said, what is this? You would say, well, it's a hostage video. This man is clearly being held against his will and is about to read the demands that are
It's going to hold
requested.
the newspaper any second now, yeah.
What does Scorch say first?
Not his hero just reached out to him, supporting him, and now he's going to say something nice in return.
All right, let's see.
Hey, what's going on, you guys? It is Scorch. And
yeah, we know. He's so used to being on the radio.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, just so you know, this is Scorch. Like, we're looking at it, buddy.
That was bad company. And
yeah, right. We know.
Oop.
And you're muted. Maybe on purpose.
I want to address this after all these years. I want to address a special video to Anthony Cumia. Anthony, I heard perhaps the other day you may...
All right, we're already off to a great start. Get your thoughts together before you start this thing. I want to address a special video to Anthony Cumia. Wait, you're addressing a video or you're recording a video to Anthony Cumia.
I just want to. I might not.
But he's talking, it's almost like he's addressing another video that he did.
Yeah, I know.
But it's not. This is the video.
It has the vibe of those wrestling promos, but they're
Yes.
like, we gotta do this again.
Right.
Special video to Anthony Cumia. Anthony, I heard perhaps the other day you mentioned either Scorch's PFG TV or Dive Bar Locator, divebarlocator.com. Remember, don't drink and drive. Subscribe. And
I love every time he says divebarlocator.com, he has to say, don't drink and drive. The tagline is where being a dive bar doesn't mean shit. Not don't drink and drive. That's not a good tagline for an app. But he always says that. He doesn't got the disclaimer. Drink responsibly, everyone, at a dive bar with $5 pitcher night. Okay. That's what everyone does at dive bars. Drink responsibly.
or Dive Bar Locator, divebarlocator.com. Remember, don't drink and drive. Subscribe and pick up the app. I heard you may have mentioned us on your show. And I just really want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Because if you did do that, there's no question I got a spike in numbers this past week. And if you did do that, that's a classy move. I don't know the motive behind it yet. I would love.
All right, so I like that he's cautiously optimistic here. He's like, Anthony, good on you. I've heard some things.
I've been betrayed before.
Now you might be maybe goofing on me to my face.
I
but-
desperately want to know what his other options were for why he had this bump in views.
Right. Well, the other funny thing, too, is that it was a tweet he put out that linked to this. And he's like, I heard you might have maybe talked about me on your show. I did this weird thing. I researched shit just so I know what I'm talking about before I go. I know, it's crazy. You would understand.
He thinks he's like flirting. He's like flirting. Like, I don't know, maybe. Could be you. I don't know.
I got a poke on Facebook. Maybe that was from...
Classy move. I don't know the motive behind it yet. I would love to find out why. Because you and I have had weird heat, quote unquote, over the years. Everybody, all the O&A people say, oh, you know what? They loved you. They loved you. But a lot of times it's gone a little too far. At least in my eyes, it's gone a little too far. And we're past that, brother. I'm 62 years old. I think you're a little bit older than that.
Oh, shots fired. Yeah. Wow.
Let's respect. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Let's respect one another. And let's maybe try some other things. Let's see what we can do. Let's talk. You can probably get a hold of me. There's no way am I going to put my telephone number out for.
Yeah, no one's asking you to.
Yeah. You probably don't have one.
What's he talking about? You can get a hold of me. I like that all of a sudden now they're partnering together. In Scorch's mind, Anthony says something nice about him and send people over to watch.
If it's him, if it's Anthony.
Right. And now he's going, if you need a co-host on your show, I could possibly make some time certain days of the week for that.
Yeah, if your heart's in the right place, we can go places, man.
Right.
We can make this work.
But the onus is on you to get in touch with me.
Yeah.
And I won't tell you how. What a weird way to communicate with someone.
Get in touch with my people, Mike.
Mike is my people. How do I get in touch with him? No idea. Okay.
Hey, Mike!
Can probably get a hold of me. There's no way am I going to put my telephone number out.
Just look for our van. Just look for our motorhome. You'll see it.
Out for the masses just because of everything that's always gone on. However, if you can get a hold of me, I would love to talk to you. Because, we have a history. Let's face facts. It started with the Undertaker's coffin. And then the Sam Adams Brewery. Remember the Sam Adams Brewery? That's when it really started to come together. And I don't know what happened between...
This is so funny. To put out a video for one person specifically with reminiscing about things they remember, because they worked together in Boston at WAAF. That was their first time that they got to know each other. And then Sam Roberts, who was an intern for Opie and Anthony, went on to take over Opie's slot, was an intern for Scorch and Syracuse. So he came with Scorch stories. Opie and Anthony did Scorch stories. So that was a big reason why they like to talk about Scorch. And then when Scorch came out with PFG TV, started making videos from bars and stuff, that's when he became part of Jocktober pretty regularly and part of the Opie and Anthony fodder. But So he's literally talking to one person in a medium that is global. This is syndicated globally. And he's like, Anthony, what's up, man? Hey, so do you remember that time that you and I did that thing with WWF and The Undertaker? Which, by the way, that's a funny story. So apparently the WWF had this coffin match, like whoever loses is going into a coffin. It's The Undertaker versus whoever. Mm-hmm. And so the WWF was like, oh, you know what we'll do is we'll prop up these coffins on the side of the ring and Opie and Anthony will lay in them and watch the match from them. And they didn't know that this was a thing that the radio station had set up for them. So they get to the arena and they're told, yeah, you guys are going to be in those coffins right there during this match. And both Opie and Anthony are like, no, we're not. That's ridiculous. We're definitely not doing that. So then Anthony goes, hey, Scorch, you want to hang in a coffin during this match? And Scorch is like, yeah, let's go. He's so excited to lay in this coffin. So that's the coffin story.
Sam Adams Brewery, that's when it really started to come together. And I don't know what happened between the Sam Adams Brewery and this day in history. I really don't know. But I would love to find out. I have no problem burying any hatchet. I think you did a classy move. Yes, did it help? Certainly did. So thank you from everybody and the whole crew from PFG TV. Scorch.
The whole crew.
I know.
Let's bring in the whole crew, Mike. Yeah. When do I get a fucking thank you? I've promoted this dive bar locator more than anyone, but all right, fine. Just thank Anthony.
I'm just glad if he's unconsciously talking to someone, it's finally not Megan.
Yeah.
Oh,
At least he's talking directly to somebody else.
I hope Megan shows up on this show again. I'm feeling so bad. She just keeps blowing him off.
Everybody and the whole crew from PFG TV, Scorch's PFG TV, and, of course, divebarlocator.com. Remember, divebarlocator.com. Don't drink and drive. Anthony Cumia, classy move, brother.
All right, so that's our buddy Scorch.
Can I just add something to this, really?
Please.
I used to program documentaries for a film festival, and when you look at a lot of documentaries, you learn really fast that everyone has a homeless wacko in their hometown. And one person a year will feel compelled to make a documentary about their local hometown thing. So you watch this civilian get involved in the local homeless person's life, thinking they're going to help them or save them. Inevitably, the more they help them, the worse the situation becomes, the more entangled they are, and it never ends well. And no matter how good your heart or intentions are, you always end up wishing you never got involved. Anthony, he just tweeted out, everyone check out this guy's show. And this guy's response is like a hostage negotiation, apology, reunion. It had the couples therapy mixed with like a, it's time for you to stop using drugs. Like it was everything. And it always killed me that Howard wouldn't pay the whack packers,
Okay.
This is why. Because when you get too involved or you give them too much of anything, it doesn't work out. And I hate to beat the same drum, but it shows you why Stuttering John is a whack packer. Because it's the whack packers that can't make that transition from wacky, goofy thing we laugh at
butt of the
to
joke,
to employee. Benji could. Lots of people can. John loves to say, no one can go. You always thought of me as an intern. No, just you. And this guy, Scorch, is reminding everyone, you need to keep a distance and don't be too nice. Don't get too involved because their minds can't handle it.
That's interesting that you say that. Have you seen Anthony's response to this yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, well, that's what we're going to watch right now.
Fantastic.
So Anthony did watch this, and he's going to respond to our buddy Scorch.
So they're starting a show together, I assume.
Anthony Cumia, classy move, brother.
You're very welcome, Mr. Scorch. Like I said, I like Scorch. I wouldn't wish any ill will toward the guy. He's out there. He's living the dream, man. This is his dream. He's living it. And I only wish him the best. I'll get in touch with him. I'll get in touch with Scorch.
There we go.
Have a conversation with him and stuff. Because, why not? Why not? So let's see what we could do for his app and his PFG TV. maybe we get him a few gallons of gas for that RV he's going around in. I'm sure it doesn't have. I'm sure it doesn't get many MPG, many miles per gallon. PFG MPG. It doesn't get it because it's like from the 70s, I think. I think this is a 1976 motorhome. But Scorch, I'm in your corner, babe. I'm in your corner, Scorch. And I'll get in touch with you. We will talk. If anyone can clip this and send it to Scorch, do that. I'm in your corner. Yeah, let's do something.
There you have it. Anthony is on board. He is ready to go. So maybe this is the new co-host. But boy, would that piss off Stuttering John. Scorch becomes the co-host of the Anthony Cumia show.
That'd be great.
You know, dolphins are the only animal that kill for fun.
That's true.
They'll just take a fish and fuck with it, not for food. I would say in this instance, Anthony's a bit of a dolphin, and he is fucking with this man, knowing that you can't just say that. Like, this is the beginning of the road movie, where Scorch and his friends gotta get to WABC in 24 hours in order to bag Marilyn Monroe or something.
Right.
Like, this guy cannot handle what Anthony just said, and Anthony knows that.
Mike, I love you, but Anthony's taking over.
Right.
Megan, it's over.
Yeah, Megan.
I got something new.
Immediately. This will be interesting. I like Anthony's approach. He's just like, listen, we're on your side. We're on your team. I'll be in touch. We'll figure this out. I can't wait to see where this goes. I hope that those two team up and they create something together. I think it'll be good. Now, you pointed something out to me, producer Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Someone named Goonie856.
Oh, yeah.
Posted underneath one of Scorch's videos. He said, I randomly started watching a show on Tubi called Deep Undercover. And on episode 33, Scorch makes his introduction as a gang member for a biker gang, and he's in multiple episodes after. It caught me off guard. I was like, holy shit, it's Scorch! You guys need to check it out. So I did.
Nice.
And I have the clips. Let's see Scorch in some of his acting work. This is really what he was made for, I think.
Mark will insert himself into a notorious motorcycle gang called the Diablos. An FBI informant, already a member of the club, will
Erik
make
Griffin.
the introduction. The Diablos aren't weekend warrior wannabes. They sell drugs, steal, and use violence to intimidate anyone they choose to.
Don't drink it.
And they don't like cops. What could possibly go wrong?
Now, if you're really listening to this, Scorch is one of the gang members, and they're like exchanging money very awkwardly. I've never seen a drug deal like that. Like, oh wait, you take this money. No, oh yeah, I got it. Okay, thanks. But then a cop walks by, and Scorch is giving him the side eye, like, you motherfucker, I'll take you down.
You know when
Everything
he tells
above board here, guys? Oh, yeah. Sorry, go ahead, man.
Whenever somebody accuses Stuttering John of doing something that's truthful, and he does that huge scrunched face, huh? What? I'm substitute teaching? That's the face that Scorch was just making.
Right. You think he's so he doesn't have a speaking role, and yet he's overacting somehow. Is what he's saying.
Line.
This is a fun scene right here where Scorch denies a black person being part of his gang because no minorities shall apply.
This group was beyond ruthless. They don't allow minorities to belong. They don't treat women very well. They have multiple arrests for street violence.
I love the black guy walking to these bikers. The one guy's like, get out of here. Move it along, son.
Lock the doors.
Like it's a diner counter in 1955 in Mississippi. Like, we don't serve your kind here.
They don't treat women very well. Guy's hand is on her shoulder. What's this made of?
This is the notorious biker gang. I don't know why we're laughing so much. I have one more clip because I just thought this was funny. I guess Scorch served some time for manslaughter.
Some of them had served time for manslaughter and were now out.
I love how much you're enjoying this, Chris. watching badass Scorch.
Yeah, I know.
It's the best. It's all he ever wants to do. That's really his calling.
There's
in
something
life.
very revealing here where when we see him on his own, he seems kind of like a rougher individual. But when you see him around actual tough people, he seems very much the opposite. He seems like he's pretending. He seems like he's not a tough guy. And when he's in the bar around bikers and things, they might not accept him as one of their own and see him as kind of a poser.
Yeah, that's well said. That's all I can think of when I'm watching this stuff. And it's like they do mix in some real footage that's actually of this biker gang and stuff. You're like, oh yeah, those are the real guys who are doing this shit. Oh yeah, that's Scorch. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And I like Scorch. I like watching him, but when he's doing his thing, sometimes I'm like, boy, I wouldn't want to get on his wrong side. I wouldn't want to piss him off. And now I see him next to these guys. I'm like, yeah, you could piss him off. It's fine. He's not going to do anything. But pop his collar a little higher.
He wouldn't even throw his toothpick at you.
I was going to say, look out, he's got a toothpick.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about it.
How do you think this happened? I mean, did Scorch have an agent?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just didn't think he had an agent.
Yeah, I think he's always looking for extra work. He's been involved in wrestling, like I was talking about before, and he's been involved in a lot of things. He's in show business. The business of show.
If you're willing to allow yourself to be a specific type, if you're like, I am tough guy number 4 forever,
right,
you'll get work. Because somebody's always going to need tough guy number 4. Somebody
true.
needed it. And there he is. And wherever he was at the time, how many were there that might have a SAG card or be able to work or have any kind of resume? It gets smaller and smaller and smaller until you're like, hello, Mr. Scorch, we need you.
All right, I want to talk about another tough guy that we have to deal with. I know. Let's try to get through this together, guys.
Another?
Ba, 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 ba.
I want to thank Stalin19, the fabulous YouTube clipper. We were just watching some of his stuff from Anthony's show. He's also clipping some Opie stuff this week that I'm excited to get into. So, Opie is constantly just getting trolled by the comments, having no control over it at all, and banning people. You've pointed out the similarities between him and Stuttering John. It's just getting worse and worse. I have examples of him like kind of leaning into the things that we make fun of him for because he thinks that's going to work, but it's too far gone. It's not going to work. That ship has sailed. And this is a trolling comment.
Let's say hi to Marks, $4.99. Hey, Ope, just found out you do a live stream. I loved O&A. Looking back, did you like your role on the show, or did you wish you were one of the? Okay, thanks. There's plenty of examples all over the internet. Of
so the guy goes, "You wish you were one of the funny ones," and that's when Opie kind of trailed off. Oh yeah, what? Where did you go right there? And so this is the worst way to respond to a super chat like that.
Of examples all over the internet of me being funny. See, that's the problem with reading this shit cold. So let me ban him.
There you go.
The Ope's not funny thing is so stupid. There's examples of me being funny all over the goddamn place.
The exact wrong way to handle that.
Yeah, and I'm laughing at him right now.
Hope you ever wish you were the funny one? There's so many examples of me being the funny one. I'll send you a link. Email me after the show. I'll send you some links to the ones where I'm the funny one. Hope he's just a guy.
Yeah.
Just go, okay, whatever, man. Move on.
The guy who just got blocked.
Well, yeah, I know. Why can he not handle it? Why does he have to address these people? And also, his hair. Yeah. So he's doing this on purpose now because everyone's talking about the comb and stuff. So now he's like pulling it out and making it crazy on purpose. It reminds me of like Stuttering John when he had his mustache half shaved, or he like put some shit on his microphone. So that it's just like, see, guys, I'm leaning into it. I know I'm disheveled. Like, yeah, that ship has sailed, man. Why don't you ever just do something with your hair so it's down or something, so it doesn't look like a complete wreck when you go on your show. The other thing that really gets to Opie, aside from the comb stuff, because that's been coming up a lot in the chat, is of course his mouth looks like it's purple, possibly black, and he hates that.
About China. People have no idea how much products would cost to make here. You would pay 10 times as much for mouth dye made in the USA. Mouth dye. I don't understand what you're getting at. But you make a very, very good point. If you made a lot of these products in America, it would cost in an insane amount of money.
Yeah, that was the point he was trying to make, Opie. Yeah, it was definitely a thing about tariffs and not talking about how your mouth looks like the penguin. Mouth dye, I don't know what you're talking about. That's the other worst thing you could do is pretend you don't know.
Yep.
I don't know what that means. Mouth dye.
Has he actually not figured out the bit yet that anyone who just even saw only this episode would go, oh, they say something nice in the beginning and then it gets worse and worse as it goes on and he doesn't know what's coming. Like, it took 2 for me to figure that pattern out. Has he still not recognized this?
He goes, that's what happens when you cold read these things. That's what you do your entire show. It's all he does is cold read chats. They go, wait a second. Why?
That started out nice.
Yeah. Here's one I don't think starts off very nice, and he is not happy with this.
Ope's been hitting the bottle this morning. Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. Let's get rid of you.
It says, old purple mouth. Mr. Chris Steele. And, of course, he's getting blocked.
Because people are sticking up for a raging alcoholic. You see, anything the raging alcoholic is, I have to be, right? I have to be ugly, and I have to be a heavy drinker, right? Is that the game plan nowadays? Go away.
So he's created this narrative. We've talked about this before, but he's really going with this now. Is that the reason why anyone says that, he can't open his eyes, he looks Asian, and his mouth is dark, so he's probably drinking red wine, is because whoever knows that Anthony is ugly and an alcoholic, so they're saying that about me, so it's Anthony's fault. So somehow he's twisted this into being Anthony's fault that people clown him for these very specific reasons that have nothing to do with Anthony at all. In fact, later on in this program, he brings this up again.
I kind of learned about gaslighting and projecting. So all the stuff that the guy you're defending does, raging alcoholic, looking like a pile of shit. Now,
hold on, I had to pause it. He says Anthony looks like a pile of shit.
Typical Anthony.
This is the guy just like, oh, would you just leave me alone? He goes on his show. Anthony has nothing to do with any of this. He's just like, this guy looks like a pile of shit.
I know.
Sounds like you're antagonizing him, Opie. If I didn't know any better, I'd think that you'd want him to smack back at you after this.
Now you project that onto me. Oh my God.
So weird.
He's literally doing what he claims is happening to him.
Yep.
Where he says, Anthony's getting all these people to say all this shit about me. This has nothing to do with Anthony. And now he's going after Anthony for shit that Anthony's not telling people to go and tell Opie he's got a purple mouth and he needs to buy a comb. Although Anthony did make a funny comb reference on his show this week. But he's not overtly telling anyone to do anything. And Opie's just like, oh, so you're doing this because of Anthony is telling you to do this, that piece of shit. The guy looks like a pile of crap.
No, we're doing this in our spare time.
You're right. I was going to tune in and see what Anthony had to say about this afterwards, but right now, I'm doing
we can't understand why a human being would respond to this in this fashion, because we would just explain why our lips are purple. Has he even attempted to explain to us what it is?
Oh, he will. I do have a clip, but
great.
I'm looking at our chat, and yeah, that's what people are pointing out. They're like, how can he not see this? This is not something that people are making up. He must be able to see that his mouth.
He's been gaslighting us for weeks, saying they're not purple.
Yes,
they're purple right now.
There's something going on.
You can only block so many of us until you're going to have to answer the question.
And I don't know if it's lighting or something. I don't think it is. I think there's something going on there. But Opie's going to claim that he's making improvements every single day.
That's what I was talking about yesterday with the dishonesty on the social media platforms. I try to live a good life. I really do. I try. I'm not perfect. I work on myself pretty much every day. I try to eat a little better every day. I try to exercise a little more every day. And that's not good enough, because when someone hates you and they don't got the good stuff, they just make up crap.
Okay. It's funny that he talks about how he's working on himself, because he's talked about this a lot. And I always point to many examples of it. You're obviously not working on yourself because you're still hung up on this. You're still bitter about that. And you're still bringing up this thing from 25 years ago. But there was no mention of working on himself mentally or spiritually, trying to improve himself and get himself in the right frame of mind. I'm trying to eat better and exercise more. Cool, man. Good. No one's calling you fat. No one's saying that you eat like shit. No one's ever brought that up. So that's not where the problem lies.
Also, how does that affect my life? That
how are you
you
gonna
work
fix
out.
How are you going to fix things with that? Doesn't make any sense.
Meanwhile, there's a kid in Mississippi who needs a T-shirt. You got to send him the T-shirt.
Yes.
Working out.
Poor Jake Hudson even bought a shirt. All right, so this is going back to him, being told he has a purple mouth and just can't handle this.
Supposedly I got a purple. I don't have a purple mouth. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe there's a shadow when I'm live streaming in this room. If I really gave a shit, maybe I would try to light up the scene a little bit more. Then you don't have to worry about my purple mouth, which is non-existent, you weirdos.
Isn't it odd that he would fix this if he cared a little bit? But he doesn't care a little bit, and yet he still brings it up and responds to every chatter who brings it up.
And he called us weirdos.
Oh, fuck, he got us with that one. But it's good to know that if he did care about it, he would fix it. I'm glad to hear that. So now we can see all the things he doesn't care about.
Well, maybe if we super chatted a little more, he would be inclined.
That's always where it goes to, too. Even though some of these super chats he's getting, he's having to block these people. So I don't know if he's going to get a lot of super chats in the future based on that. This was an interesting thought that he had. He talks about being a celebrity and how horrible that is. And how if he could do it all over again, he would do things differently.
But that's all they got. That's all they got when you try to live a good life. And it's kind of sad what people will do to you out there. They just will make up horrendous stuff. I said it recently.
That's the other thing, too. I glossed over this in the last clip. He's always talking about people making shit up. It's like people are observing your purple mouth. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what it is. I just put up a chat. Eric Nagel was saying that maybe he puts Kool-Aid sprinkles on his oatmeal. I don't know. It's possible. People do weird stuff in the morning. But no one's, like, on this channel, no one's making shit up. We speculate from time to time. We'll speculate on what's going on, why he's doing what he's doing, what's happening.
Does he own a comb?
Right. Those questions come up. But we don't make shit up. In Opie's mind, because he's talked about this before, it's like the Dabbleverse is just where you try to get dirt on people and then you just say horrific things about people. Well, what we do is we watch your show and we react to what you say and do.
That's
all
dare
this
you?
is.
How dare you?
We don't make shit up about it. We don't have a backstory that we're trying to nail you on. And in Opie's mind, she's like, oh, you guys are just making shit up about me. And that's why everyone's clowning me.
There's no self-reflection. And
Yes.
if you can't do that, what he doesn't understand is, Opie, I went down a Jake Hudson rabbit hole, and I watched all of his appearances with you. And what we don't realize here as members of the Dabbleverse is that if you go back and you watch Opie from 2 years ago, it's a different person in every way. And for us who have watched you for years, I'm being serious, Opie, the only rational explanation for what you're doing right now is that you've been up all night and it's 5 a.m. and you got wine on your mouth from drinking all night and you're podcasting. That would make more sense than you being sober and doing this intentionally.
What say you, Opie?
Said it recently to some really good friends of mine. Yeah, I got friends too, believe it or not. Another dumb thing people are trying to push out there. And they were talking, about, my fame and the big radio show back in the day. And I looked at this person, and I think you know it by now because of what I'm doing these days. I said, I don't know if I would become a public figure if I was starting out today, because these people today, oh my God, it's just terrible out there.
Now, Adam, we have not rehearsed this ahead of time. I honestly don't know how you're going to respond to this. I know it's going to blow people's minds, but you've reached a certain level of fame in your career, and you got famous pretty early on in life. Overall, Has it been a positive or a negative, or are you neutral on it? What do you think?
I really don't have any fame. I can't even weigh in on it. I just know what it's like to be an actor. The times I get recognized are positive and negative. All I know is that Opie went on a 20-minute rant about how the highlight of his Atlanta trip was a Patrice O'Neal fan who recognized his face from the Patrice O'Neal thumbnails, said, "Oh shit, you're Opie." And he talked about that. I know more about that than the wedding he went to. It meant so much to him. So right now, when somebody says, "So what keeps you up at night?" and he responds, "I'm not drunk, you're drunk, blocked."
Right.
It makes us all wonder what's really going on over there. I don't think his family's with him anymore.
I know. Again, speculating. We don't know. But
He's slurring his speech. You got to watch him with Jake. He says when he's on with Jake, he goes, I don't make a lot of money doing this, Jake. I'm not getting the numbers like I used to. Like, he's in reality. He's acknowledging it, and it's almost charming. It's not this. Compared to that, he's slurring, he's drunk, he's alone.
He's fumbling. If I had to use one word, if I play that Jake game, use one word to describe it, fumbling.
Yeah.
Because he's stammering and he's stuttering and he doesn't know how to react to the chat, and he's arguing with individual chatters, which we'll see quite a bit. But it's very easy to say once you've made your millions of dollars and you have your beautiful place, and you can be like, "Oh my gosh, if I could do it again, I wouldn't even want to be a famous celebrity. It's just not even worth it." And the story you just told about the Uber driver, you reminded me of the clip that we played on the show maybe a year ago, where he walked into a building and the security at the building who wouldn't let him in goes, "Hey, you're Opie." And he walked out like whistling. He's like, "Yep, I get recognized usually once a day. I'm still getting recognized." And that person reached out to me and said, "Hey, I saw Opie in my building. I wouldn't know who he was, but I've seen him on one of these podcasts so many times."
Yeah, he heard his voice.
Right.
It was him.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
How his mind doesn't go from that experience to, I should work with them more.
Right.
It's crazy. That shows you the disconnect.
It's a lack of confidence, too. He knows. E-Rock chiming in with our wild speculation. I think his family is fine. I don't think it's about that. He just seems like he's spiraling and can't admit to himself he needs to course correct, make amends, and try something more fulfilling. Yeah, not everyone who's struggling is struggling with substances, but this is a struggle that we're watching.
And look, his family might be around, but like a lot of the people we talked about today, clearly he doesn't have a close enough relationship with any of them for them to tell him that it's done. Come on, man. Take a
They're
nap.
probably not watching. I guarantee the wife's not watching these videos.
No.
Or there'd be a discussion taking place. Now, Opie has learned not to just trust everything that people write in his chat, finally.
The Dante, Jim Norton trashed you on his live stream last night. Yeah, I don't care, Dante. You're one of those. You're probably. You know what? I'm getting rid of you because I think you're just making up shit. I was stupid for a while. I was taking the bait of some of the stuff that these people. I wanted to trust the people in the chat. I wanted to trust you, and I've gotten bad information. But to me, it might as well have been true with all the trashing that has gone on for decades at this point. Sure. So we're gonna try not to take the bait as much. All right.
There you go, Opie.
Let's see how long that lasts.
Well, the only reason why he didn't that time is because Jim Norton goes out of his way to never say Opie's name. So he knows that Jim Norton wasn't trashing him on his live stream the night before. He wishes that would happen. That's too good to be true for Opie because he can finally fight back against Jim, who says nothing and makes Opie look petty and ridiculous. But I like that he goes, "Yeah, it turns out you guys are feeding me shit to get me all wound up, and I finally figured out I should stop responding to that stuff all wound up." Doesn't change the format of his show or change him from reading all this stuff, but at least he's like going, "I'm going to get a second opinion on that one before I just respond."
And I'll offer up to Eric Dangle, yeah, his family might not support this, but who is this we he keeps referring to? He says, we're not going to do that anymore. Who is we? That's delusional.
Interesting. Yeah, you're right.
It's just you, buddy.
He's got Dang Lizard's free comment up, and it's, "I woke up this morning and I got myself a wine." Which, why is he platforming this stuff? He's so upset about people calling him out and saying that he has a drinking problem. He's drinking
Because
wine.
he saw the musical notes and he thought it looked fun and didn't finish the sentence.
Speaking of fun, we've talked about this a lot on the show. There was a time when Opie was having fun. He would have Cardiff on. He would have Tukey on. He'd be dancing around. Corn Diff was on there. They're all dancing and having fun. And Cardiff and Tukey have been reaching out and trying to get back on Opie's show. And at one point, Cardiff was pretty sure they were going to get back on a Friday show. So Rocco is in the chat, and he's super chatting Opie to figure out why they're not on the show anymore.
Why do you fear success and ignore Tukey and Cardiff? Because I'm not a dabbler. I'm not in the Dabbleverse. I don't fear success. I had an insanely successful career. People need me to be something I don't know if I want to be anymore. I was successful since I was 18 years old, all the way up until, God knows, 30-something years I was successful. This is why, B. Dabbler, I don't like you people, because you're all a bunch of liars.
Now, I have to point out, I don't think he knows what success means, because I've been successful since I was 18. When he did an internship at WCMF, that was success.
So employed?
He didn't have Anthony on his show until he was in his 30s.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing whatever the evening shift is on FM radio on Long Island, just playing alternative rock. That's not successful. It's fine. But if I was a multimillionaire with, 500 feet above Manhattan, I wouldn't be like, oh, I've been successful since I was 18 years old. Like, no, my success actually started when we got the contract with WNEW, and then, you would know, like, the big moments that made you a success. Not early on in your career when you had a paper route. Not when, this guy was caddying. That's not what success is. But Opie decided, because he was employed back then, yes, I guess he was successful.
There's also a whole other metric with which to gauge success, Opie, and I know it would never occur to you, but some people look at their career and they take pride in the work that they did over a certain number of years, regardless of how it did financially. They're like, I'm proud of this work I did. It never even occurs to you. It doesn't even come up.
You're talking about his life's work?
His life's
That's my
work.
life's work.
That they're holding hostage, ransom from him.
Rocks in the chat with my life's work.
Not
Say,
one
like
bit.
A person.
I guess if there was, he'd be doing it again now.
So he's getting real wound up here with this Rocco chat that came up.
How do I fear success if I was insanely successful from the age of 18 all the way up until almost old age? What part of that is fearing success? And then it's stuff like this that makes me not want to dip my toes in the Dabbleverse. Oh my God. Oppenheimer, did you eat an octopus black mouth? I'm telling you, I don't have a black. If that's all you got, I don't know what to do. Let me get rid of you.
He didn't learn.
I know, another blocked chatter right there. It's so funny. Now, I don't know what he's referring to. He goes, and it's stuff like this that makes me not want to dip my toe into the Dabbleverse. Stuff like what? The chat that you put up on your screen from Rocco that just said, why won't you have us on the show? We were doing really well when we were on your show.
It's anything that makes him feel anything.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He gets in his feelings so quickly and easily. Like, oh, you just pointing out that I wouldn't have you on my show is making me not like you more. Yeah. Well, that's the question. And the thing that Opie did is he treated Cardiff and Rocco like shit. He would not confirm whether he was going to have them on Friday or not. He wouldn't let them know if he was going to send the link. So Cardiff's fortunately living in I'll say it. He lives in the fucking Eastern time zone like Opie, so it's fine.
You cannot stop doxing. It's
I
just
know.
unbelievable.
It's Brazil, but it's the Eastern time. And then
now I got to make another round of shows.
And then you have poor Tukey out there who's getting up at 4 a.m. or 3:30 a.m. or something just to be prepared and ready in case they get the link so he can go on Opie's show. And sometimes they would, and sometimes they wouldn't. And even up until recently, Opie was communicating with Cardiff saying that he was going to have them on and then wouldn't have them on. So it's just a power play there, and he's being a douche. And he's really the problem in all of this. He's going, oh, it's stuff like that, and then it becomes their fault. Oh, it's stuff like that. It makes me not want to do it anymore. Stuff like what? What did you do? Oh, I lost my my screen here.
We look at Stuttering John. We look at all these different people. They're so different. Like their economic situation, their family life, their addictions. It is, on paper, very, very different. But they all come to the same conclusions. They don't know that when Opie, when you had the vegetables on, you thought they were the butt of the joke. Right. But it was actually you. And the fact that you didn't know that is endlessly entertaining, and we can watch it forever. But you don't know that. You actually think you were big-timing these guys, and you're doing it again, so it's not working. You're the butt of the joke. Jim tried to explain this to you. Other shows have spent hours on that one moment, just not understanding why you can't grasp what your talent was. And we're all saying it to you, and you still can't see it. And that's like my worst nightmare.
Yes. And I think that Opie's realization that Tukey and Cardiff are more popular than him, and people would be tuned in for that, is why he's scared to have them on the show.
Yep.
Because, yeah, he could be the butt of the joke.
Yeah, he doesn't understand.
And I'm the only person in the Dabbleverse who only hears true information from the chatters in my chat room. And TP says Jim actually did bash Opie on his show. If that's true, I need the audio of this, because I'm very skeptical of that. Very skeptical.
And real quick, another mistake that Opie, John, Tom Myers, countless others make is saying how long they've been doing something.
I know.
Well, you suck at it now.
Right, that's not the flex you think it
That
is.
is not.
When Tom Myers is like, I've been doing comedy for 20 years. You have?
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
Do something else.
Craft a joke.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this earlier with Quad. It's just what you said, Chris. They get a feeling and the world stops. And there is no present. And Opie is sitting there going, God, just like John, you know, in his mind, all of his successes are flashing through his mind. He's like, how could you possibly think I'm a loser? Because we're looking at what you're doing right now.
Yes.
And there is no argument. John, if somebody showed you 20 years ago a picture of you at ChillerCon with your head down and your receding hairline next to Grillo looking at your phone in an empty room, you'd go, oh, fuck it. It doesn't work out. I got to change something. And Opie, if someone showed you alone in your apartment, broadcasting to this computer to no one, you'd go like, fuck, I got to change something.
With squid ink all over your mouth.
A best case scenario. Yes, squid ink.
Yeah. I pointed this out to John directly. I don't know how often I've said this about Opie. It's the success that makes this more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We can all watch King Cobra JFS or Cyrax or
sure can.
any of these people, and you go, well, they're losers.
Mm-hmm.
They've always been losers. That's fun. But you know what's even more fun? This guy was making millions of dollars as a radio host, and now he's doing this. And Stuttering John was the announcer for the night show, and now he's doing ChillerCon. And Kevin Brennan was Neil Brennan's brother.
Now he's doing whatever he does.
And at this lowest moment of their descent, you're never going to believe this. They decided to film it.
Yeah, they're documenting it for us.
What, because somebody's paying them like $1 million? No, they elected to do it on their own for free. I can't look away.
Pennies on the dollar, actually.
I'm a volunteer.
All right. So now Opie's got to argue with people and tell them how amazing his life is.
Dude, okay. Is this still funny or is it just sad? Jess is sad, everybody. Jess is sad. Jess, are you sad? Dude has a breakdown over being a massive failure. More just all right, let me get rid of this person. Just more lies. Where's my breakdown? I'm having a wonderful life.
The fact that you have to say, where's my breakdown? I'm having a wonderful life. It's like, no, this is what we're watching it. This is what she's referring to is specifically what you're doing. This is the breakdown that we're referring to.
And I'm sorry, but just like all the others, they think their words are going to convince us
right.
otherwise.
Rather than their actions and their facial expressions, their emotions. Yeah, right.
We're watching this.
We're watching you get very overly emotional over a random person who you know nothing about on the internet.
This is the Chad laugh. He's doing it right now.
Yep.
It's just,
But he has reasons why he's not doing so well.
You know, one of the other things I decided was to put my priorities in order. I'm sure I could be doing more than I'm doing. I'm sure I can. But my priorities are different. I want to enjoy my kids growing up. I want to enjoy my wife. When the Opie and Anthony show was just absolutely insane, it didn't leave a lot of time for much else. If you want to know the truth,
If you want to know the truth, there's the tell.
Yep. Drink.
There's the tell right there. Oh, you were doing a morning show for 4 hours a day? Yeah, I probably didn't leave a lot of time for anything else. I know there's meetings. I know there's other things going on, but I would say if I'm Opie's kids and wife that he's prioritizing over his career, I'd be like, hey, maybe we don't want the money to run out. Could you maybe prioritize that so that we're not destitute?
You're acting weird.
Yeah, I know. This whole thing where Opie's acting like he's putting his family first. Well, you're the provider for the family, so you might want to start providing.
He's putting his ego before everything. As long as I never really try, I can never really fail. So I can always say to you, I know I'm not trying.
Also, and I have no reason to believe he's not an amazing husband and an amazing father.
I have reasons to believe, but yeah.
It's possible he's terrible at both, but we'll never know.
It's just
and so
watching
he can
his
just be
show.
like, guys, I'm prioritizing being a father and a husband. You're just
That's
like,
why
well,
I'm in the car in the Costco parking lot talking to you right now. While my family's inside providing for us.
There is some evidence that, it's not really going all that well. But he says this, and this is where a lot of these guys, the disconnect they have. Aaron Imholt's very much this way, where just because we make fun of his show and his begging and how bad he is at the show that he claims to be really good at, that he thinks that we're hoping for a bad thing to happen to him.
Where's the breakdown? What is wrong with you people for real? What went wrong in your life that you're hoping that someone, a bunch of you probably were fans back in the day, you're hoping that someone has a major breakdown.
People aren't hoping, they're observing. They're observing this breakdown in Opie's mind. It's these people they're trying to get me to break down. They're trying to ruin it. It's just like, no, they're just observing what's going on. They're watching you react to just this stupid little Facebook post that someone's putting on the chat while you're doing your show.
He has no idea how revealing what he just said was. He has no idea that he just told us what he wants. This is what he does. This is why he can't be happy for Anthony or anyone. He's not like, oh, the people around me are having success. That means I'll be successful too. He's actively wishing it wouldn't happen. Like John hoping Kate Meany doesn't get the job at Sirius. Like they just wish ill will on other people and don't believe in their hearts that other people are not the same way.
You're right. And even when someone does succeed, he has to belittle it. Like, you think Sam Roberts has a good career? You think Jim Norton's doing well? Yeah, I think both those things. Oh, you think
Opie,
Anthony getting a job at WABC is a big deal? It seems to be a pretty big deal, actually. People are still talking about it.
I'm sure you would like one. Wouldn't that be great, Opie? I saw you on WATP. Why is that a negative? They saw you.
I'm not impressed.
You're right.
You must be a loser.
That's a good observation, though, Adam. You're right, because he's thinking about like taking other people down and watching them have a mental breakdown. So that's what he's rooting for. It's like, I don't know why you're rooting for that. It's so weird. We're not. We want you to keep doing your show, keep doing what you're doing.
He thinks we're rooting against him. He thinks we want him to suffer and that would make us happy. Not that if he just did a show plan, whatever it was, and called up the fruits and vegetables and did a show, we wouldn't be riveted.
I also want him to get back on the radio. If he did a daily radio show,
yeah,
that'd be fantastic for us. All right. This is another question that comes up in the chat that Opie does not have to address, does not have to put up on the screen.
Your fall from grace is so depressing, is it? There's my fall from grace. This is what I'm looking at this morning. I know. I'm so bummed out. I'm so depressed. Hell's Kitchen. I'm so bummed out. I'm so depressed. My fall from grace. Oh, my God. I know. Just imagine you had a huge radio show. You invested wisely. You buy 3 spectacular properties. One that I don't really talk about at all. And this is so depressing. And then I get to hang out with my wife and kids. I don't have to report to a business and a boss that's a shithead. I know all of this is so depressing.
That's an insane response to that chat. And so, Adam, I think I know the answer based on everything you've said so far. But is Opie reacting this way because he knows that's what's getting him views and getting him clips and getting him talked about on shows, and he wants this attention? Or does it really bother him that much to just have that half a sentence send him off on that journey?
That's it.
Yeah, I'm sorry to answer on Adam's
Please,
behalf.
no.
I don't think he's that smart or talented
Yeah.
to pull it off.
I mean, Opie, all you have to do is just watch that one clip to understand why people are going, what's going on with this breakdown you're having? Why are you losing it? What's happening? The fact that you had to bring up your third property in Philadelphia to prove how successful you are and how amazing your life is.
He thinks he's better than John claiming to own a boat. That's what
Right.
you just did, Opie.
Yes.
You just claimed you owned a boat.
Except for he actually does own that third property, and John does not own a boat.
Quite
But
possibly,
yes,
yeah.
right. That's a very similar thing. All right. So last thing I want to leave us on is people are very excited about this new podcast network that's picking them up and what's going to be happening with that, because Opie announced it. Like, guys, I don't know if you are ready for this big news, but people are showing interest in this show, and we are going places.
And I'm moving my podcast to a bigger platform. People are trying to make a little more out of it than it really is. I'm just moving my podcast to a bigger platform. I got recruited a little bit. They're basically saying that we see some potential. We see where you should be getting more downloads. We certainly could get you more monetization. So why don't you move over to us? And I'm like, well, hell yeah, I'll do that.
Now, the word in there that stuck out to me is the word potential. These guys reached out and said, we see you have potential. He started as the #2 podcast in the comedy section of iTunes. This is the opposite of potential. It's literally the polar opposite. He started out ready to go at the starting line in first place and is now in last place. And someone's like, that's our guy.
We're going to team you up with another hot commodity, Erik Griffin. You guys are on the same trajectory.
They're going
Here you
places.
He's going to get us over the finish line before anyone else. Opie, there's no potential here. You've tried everything that you could try. You suck. It's gone nowhere. The only thing that's helped his views, and I'm saying this very modestly, is people like me and Anthony bringing him up.
Who are great.
And keeping it. No, but we're keeping Opie alive. This guy would definitely just be in obscurity. No one would be talking about this. You'd have that little Pod Squad Facebook group of, a few dozen people, and that'd be it. But now he's got all these chatters fucking with them and talking to him, and he's able to respond.
He revealed his weaknesses in this little rant. He said they have a bunch of ideas of how we're going to grow it. That's not how it works, Opie.
Right.
Howard Stern didn't take the meeting about syndication and say, okay, how are we going to do this? You guys have any ideas? He said, here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to do creatively. How can I make that happen? And then they explained all the limitations, and he fought against them. You're supposed to come to them with an idea, a concept, anything that they can help you with, that they'd be like, oh shit, he can't get that done in front of that window. We need to build him a podcast room so he can do this idea he has. But he has none. He thinks it's impressive to say, other people have some thoughts about me. Highly like that.
It's interesting, too, that this whole thing with this new platform, he keeps saying it. He's like, they're going to get me more views. They're going to get me marketing. If I wasn't familiar with Opie, and all of a sudden this shows up because there's an ad on my podcast player or something's pushing this out to me on Instagram or something.
You lost
gotta
a bet.
check out,
Yeah.
You got to check out Opie Radio Podcast. Who would watch this and be like, this is my new morning show? Like, Opie, you must know that this isn't for anyone. You're not talking about anything. You have no takes on anything. You argue with the chat. You say hi to people who you know.
Erik Griffin is still doing his podcast even though it was successful a long time ago. But the reason he can still do it to the number of people that are there is because he didn't block all of them and tell them they're all losers and assholes for reaching out to him. He cultivated it. He rewarded them for believing in him. And now they're supporting him. This is what you're left with.
And Opie is so out of it. So he's in podcasting. He's a podcaster. And he doesn't even understand what's happening in the industry.
There's some things I'm a little worried about. I want to make sure if I move over to this one podcast platform that, some of these places have exclusivity like Spotify does with the Joe Rogan, or does he now? I don't know. But, they pay him all that money, but you can only get him through Spotify. I think in the podcast world, especially at my level in podcasting sucks at D. So I can't be exclusive to anybody. I need to be on all the platforms to hopefully, build a bigger audience.
So he still thinks that there's exclusivity, and he doesn't know whether that's the case or not with this new offer, this new platform that's widely known that SiriusXM and Spotify and all these companies that are buying a podcast are allowing them to be on YouTube and to be on every podcast app because they're like, we don't want to limit the audience size. We want to sell advertising on their behalf and get it out to everyone we can. And Opie's like, yeah, but I got to make sure it's like a Joe Rogan deal. That hasn't been the case for years. How are you not keeping up on this? Even casual observers of podcasting and entertainment know this.
Just like we were talking about, he has become a square dad who doesn't realize he's no longer a hip, edgy comedian. Anyone, even older people who hear what you just said are going to go, oh, yeah, that's what they used to say before the internet. They were precious about things. It wasn't a global medium. You sound like an old person. And I know that because I'm an old person. I'm telling you, that's not how it works now. And it's okay to think that way. But the fact that I know at least a dozen people have told you the opposite, and you're explaining to them while they're wrong, while you're actively drowning, is wild.
And his example for a successful podcast is always Joe Rogan. Yeah. He doesn't know anyone else who's successful in podcasting.
That's very telling in and of itself.
Right. Even an old guy like Opie should know Smartless, know something else. Alice Cooper, that's pretty big news. $100 million with Sirius. Shannon
Has he ever
Sharp,
said the words "call her daddy"? Has he even mentioned them or at all?
You would think, because he used to work for Sirius, so you would think he would know, but I've never heard him bring it up. And so he says that. He goes, I'm just not sure. The thing we got to work out is I got to make sure it's not an exclusivity deal where I can only be on one platform. But the day before he said this, he says,
but when I move my podcast to this other place, it'll certainly help with views. It'll help with marketing, and it'll also help with money. And then maybe I don't have to beg for money every morning. Give me your $5.
$5.
I know. So Opie says all along, they're going to help me with views. They're going to help me get the show more access with the marketing. And then he's like, but I got to check to make sure it's not exclusive on just one platform like Joe Rogan. What? Which is it? What are you talking about? So confused, this man.
When you're in these talks, are you listening?
Right. And it's not, they're not talks or emails that he's forwarding to some agent and manager. I don't think E-Rock's take on that. I know he's active in the chat about
what is it he thinks they're going to be exclusive about? Is it the naming of the chatters at the beginning of the show?
the roll call?
Yeah, what?
We got to have the roll call on our network, all right, Opie? And then you can put it on the other ones days later.
And it's real because he's following the same thing Anthony did. I remember for months, Anthony was like, something's coming. Can't tell you what it is, but it's a coming, and it's big, and it's going to pay a lot of bucks, and it's going to be huge. You can't wait. No, he didn't do that because that's not what you do when you're in negotiations with something real. You don't fucking talk about it, and when it's done, you announce it like an adult. This is a kid saying, oh, yeah, well, I got one too, and it's better than yours, and my dad can beat up your dad.
Yeah, it's a lot of counting your chickens before they hatch. We see this all the time where people, it's like we were just playing with Erik Griffin talking about, well, I'm going to have a new website. We're going to have a podcast studio, and it's going to look great.
It's coming down the pike.
Everything's going to be awesome eventually.
I've been doing this shit a long time. You start to tell people about a role that you haven't booked yet.
Yeah.
You learn real fucking
Bad move.
fast not to tell anyone until you've been to the screening and seen yourself on the screen. And even then,
Yeah, you might have your
50-50.
doubts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally an insider when it comes to Anthony, and I only knew a day or two before it was announced that he got the job on WABC, because it would be stupid to even start telling your friends and family about it. Just head down, figure it out, and once it happens, it happens.
You mean Anthony didn't go on the air and express in a forum that those people could hear how not into it he was? And how obsessed he was with the limitations?
Right. No, I didn't do that at all, actually. Opie, or Sean the producer, sorry. Sean the producer, $10 says, Opie is working on himself while currently using his Long Island Clan account to threaten the Emily YouTube account with beatings with a golf club. What in the hell are you talking about, Sean the producer?
Well, it was in the chat. It's true.
That's true. That's what I've learned from Opie's show. If someone tells me that, they give me $10, it must be true. Is Opie using sock accounts to threaten people?
Probably.
I don't believe that.
I do.
Waver in with potatoes and corns. Thank you, Waver. Sean, the producer, again, says, getting recognized in public is no big deal. I still get recognized from the local TV show that I co-hosted and was on screen maybe once a year for 10 years. The show ended in 2001. Well, la-ti-da.
Oh, Sean, the producer.
No one told me there was going to be boasting.
It's always fun to be recognized. Yeah. If you ever see me or producer Chris, say hi. I was at the hockey game, and there's a guy who he hosts the Buffalo Sabres games. He does the pre-show, he does between periods, post-show. He was sitting right in front of me.
Please don't dox him.
And you know what I did?
I doxed him.
I took my picture with him. Like a Jim Norton. I was like, can we get a picture? I'm sorry. He was cute. He asked me my name. Like, you don't care. Jacob Ryan, $2. Adam, why aren't you getting acting jobs anymore? Weren't you just filming a horror film?
Yes, and I have
In
a
Hawaii?
series coming out called PBC very soon that I look
Nice.
forward to promoting. But it's irrelevant to anything. It doesn't really matter. But it's a fact.
Good answer.
Eric
E-Rock says the exclusivity is they get it out a week early on their platform before going out everywhere.
Yeah, because if I didn't get Opie's take on the Pope's death timely, what would I do? How would I know how to process it?
I think this is a big deal.
I don't know what he's referencing there. I'm sorry. I don't know why I pulled that up. But he might be talking about Smartless. Because Smartless comes out so much later than when they recorded. I remember Howard Stern was on their show in August. And by the time it finally came out, like in late September, I was like, okay, whatever. I was going to review it, but now I just don't care. I've already heard Howard talk about it, complain about it. So it's all good. All right, Adam, you ready to play a game?
I'd love to.
What about Annie? Annie, you ready to play a game?
I'm ready to lose at the game.
No, that's the wrong attitude, Annie.
I haven't won 2 minutes with Tom.
You have a 20% chance every time. How is that possible? Today's your day. You excited about Vegas? We're going to be at Hackamania. All four of us on the screen right here. We'll be at Hackamania this next weekend coming up. I know. I'm very excited about it.
Can't wait.
It's going to be a lot of fun hanging out with everybody. Let's go, Cardiff.
It's time for everyone's favorite new game show, 2 Minutes with Tom. What do you say, ladies and gentlemen? And Adam Bush.
God damn it.
Are you ready to find the bomb? Playing 2 Minutes with Tom.
But I haven't been doing a lot of live shows. Lately, I've been doing shows over the internet, over Zoom, and I think I actually like doing those better because before, when I would do live shows, I would usually piss off an audience member, and they'd want to fight me, they'd want to kick my ass. But now if I do a show on Zoom, even if they want to kick my ass, they have to try and find my address. And even if they found my address, there's a very good chance that...
What did Tom say next? Here are your choices. Number 1, they'll get taken out by a Maryland driver. B, they'll get stuck in one of our roundabouts. Next, the traffic will make them forget what they were even angry about. 4. They'll misread the map and end up in Delaware. And lastly, they would hear my neighbor's banjo playing and run for the hills. 2 minutes with Tom.
All right, there could be any of these.
Mm-hmm.
This is a tough one. Now, we got it right last episode because we smartly tricked Cardiff into making number 1 the answer. Yes. And then we chose one and we got it. I think he's doing it again.
God damn it.
I'm going number 1.
So did I.
Taken out by a Maryland driver. Producer Chris and I are both going number 1. Adam Bush, what say you?
I mean, they're all variations of the same joke, which is completely believable that Tom would say them. And I would encourage anyone who listens, like I do, to watch Tom prowling the stage like a peacock trapped behind a zoo. It's so uncomfortable watching him pace. It could be any of these. I will go with the roundabout, just because it's local humor.
Okay, yep, that sounds good. Annie, what do you think?
Next.
Whichever will make them forget what they were angry about. Let's find out.
Come on, Annie.
Now if I do a show on Zoom, even if they want to kick my ass, they have to try and find my address. And even if they found my address, there's a very good chance that they'll get taken out by a Maryland driver.
Yes! Yes! We bullied Cardiff into making us win twice in a row. Yeah!
Is
Take
it
that,
really winning?
potato.
Do you feel good?
Do I look like I feel good? Do I look like I feel good right now?
Victory lap. Victory lap. Carl is taking his victory lap.
Fuck yeah, I am. All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Tom, as you were.
COVID has changed everything for me.
Can you pause
I
it?
now keep a giant bottle of...
Are you guys listening to that broad talking louder than Tom in that room? It's amazing. Please continue.
You're saying that she's showing very little respect?
Yes.
For the
This
comic
guy's been doing it for decades.
Oh, and right at the top, there's the visual of that person leaving and crossing the frame in front of him. That just adds to the sadness.
Oh, poor Tom. Don't make me start feeling bad for Tom Myers, guys. Come on.
COVID has changed everything for me. I now keep a giant bottle of Purell next to my bed instead of Jergens.
This episode has been brought to you by Hackamania.com. Go to Hackamania.com right now and get your tickets or your streaming package and use promo code CUM. If you bought your tickets without using promo code CUM, call Patrick Melton right now and demand a refund at 516-922-9463. That's his personal cell phone number. See you in Vegas.
Sit, Eugene, sit. Good dog.
All right. Great game, Cardiff. Thank you for that.
I did not realize that Patrick lived in Long Island with a 516 area code. That's impressive.
All right. Can I tell you what that number is?
Please.
It's Jackie's joke line.
I knew it was something.
He's still doing that. Of course, Cardiff would put that up.
922 wine.
It's so funny. Sean, the producer, says the _Emily_ YouTube account has been making videos exposing Opie's sock accounts. He's using one of the accounts to threaten her in the comments. Sean, the producer, will you please email me these details, WATPshow@gmail.com? I want to look into this. If that's true, that's even for Opie. That's wild.
Opie.
Wild behavior. Yeah, I mean, Opster, come on. I know you got a lot of free time. We're not unleashed in New York City, but still, that's what you're doing with your time. Hire someone to do that for you if you're going to do something
That's
like
what
that.
a success does.
Right? Ladies and gentlemen, what have we done today? We've done it all. We talked about Jake Hudson and the very successful interview we had with Adam Bush. We talked about PYB. We talked about Erik Griffin, who is a slow and not funny at all. We talked about Scorch teaming up with Anthony Cumia in the near future. Can't wait to see what that's going to look like. Opie is still letting his chat control his show. You know what that means. It's time for everyone's favorite part of the show.
The teaser. Next week's teaser.
The teaser. I'm excited to say we have EDR in studio because Earl David Reed is performing at Comedy at the Carlson this weekend. We'll be there Saturday night to see him. If you're in Western New York, come by and check out EDR, but we'll be live on this channel on Saturday. And also the Aussie guy is stopping in for his first ever appearance on WATP. Looking forward to chatting with him. I could tease what we're going to be talking about, but I'm actually not going to.
No, that's a tease.
I'm excited about it. It's about time I started getting some comeuppance, and I think that's what we're going to be doing with Dean, the Aussie guy. And we can also play. This is a fun game that we'll play when he comes on. Guess what time it is where he is. I love playing What's Your Local Time? And actually with him, we can also pick the date because I won't have a clue of either one.
It's impossible to win.
It's impossible to know. So please join us for that episode of Who Are These Podcasts coming up this weekend. And thank you all for supporting us, of course, on Patreon. We put out our third bonus episode of the month just yesterday. And, of course, there's the video and the audio versions of that, whether you like listening to it on your podcast player or like watching it on YouTube. You have those options with all the bonus shows we put out when you support us with Patreon. If you become a member of the YouTube channel, you get all the videos. And those are under the membership tab on the YouTube channel. Annie, what are you promoting?
I'm promoting myself at insanity.com. You can go there and check out everything I'm working on. I've been streaming Red Dead 2, so I can do a episode with Husey. Come check me out.
Excellent. And then do we have any new reviews that you can read for us?
I got one from us from Shrek City.
Okay.
It's titled Adam Bush's Monologue. I found WATP through a show Carla did with Matthew Cox, and I decided to check things out and have been hooked ever since. I had no idea this dabble world was going on right under my nose.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that because it was a fun conversation I had with Matthew Cox when we were down in Largo for the live podcast. And I get up early and drive for an hour to wherever the hell he lives. And I'm glad people found us through that. It's amazing. Is that a 5-star review?
That is a 5-star review. And welcome to the Dabbleverse. It's always exciting to hear new people coming in.
Excellent. All right, let's listen to some voicemails and then we'll get out of here. Ronnie in Syracuse.
Hey, Carl, Ronnie in Syracuse. Love you, love the show. Just finished listening to the Saturday show, and I don't understand why you had Mike Gavin Ali on. Doesn't make any sense. What a waste. He drove 5 hours one way with some friends, specifically to talk to John and ask him some good questions, and didn't get a picture, didn't ask any questions, didn't take his own pictures, nothing to document his 5-hour one-way trip. What a waste. Oh, my God. Don't call me back.
It's almost like he's retarded or something.
How come nobody's commented on how John smelled?
Good point. People didn't want to get that close, I guess.
Can I just point out that this Michael Gavin Ali, he's obsessed with porn stars. He knows a lot of them. Who are these friends? Because that's all anybody knows. We don't know anything about his interactions with John because he had none. But we all know he had friends. He called you. He said, I'm bringing these friends and we're going to go. And then he said, I spent money, $60 on these friends. Didn't have enough money to pay for John to get a picture, to do an interview. What are these friends? They're not a part of what you're trying to do. I think you're using us to impress these friends and that you accomplished whatever it was you wanted to do in your sick, dark, twisted, beautiful fantasy.
I think you're right, because he wanted me to send links to his friends. So he's just like, I can get, if you guys come with me, I can get you on this podcast and we'll do this thing. And I was
That's
like,
all we know.
nope.
That's all. Only takeaway. Who are these friends? And go fuck yourself. You can't make friends on our dime.
Yeah, Troy Smith says I blew it. I should have had them on. In hindsight, I would have. I had no idea. MG had nothing for us. But we talked about this in the before the show started. We more than made up for it with Jack on Point Dabble Point.
He was great.
So if you haven't checked out Point Dabble Point, that's on our YouTube channel from this Monday. Check it out because he was there with his girlfriend, getting photos, getting videos, insulting John to his face, We got to see it, and he was composed and relaxed.
He did it at the proper pace.
It was perfect.
He didn't go in there, you know. All right, you get it.
Yeah.
It was well done.
But I think, Chris, what you're trying to point out is that if there's anybody out there who doesn't have a show, who's not a YouTuber, you're going to do better. Please, if you're inspired, if John comes near you, go out to the show. Speak to him. Share with us what happened. Be a fan of all of this and report it back. Because you can have your own show and still be terrible at this if you're lonely.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Hey, so start off, what was it? Long time hater, first time caller, whatever. I don't know. This little piggy. I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to keep up with everything. I'm listening to The Biggest Problem, and Dick mentions I was on this little piggy. You know who this little piggy is? Whatever, yada yada. Why did I have to go onto YouTube to find Nobody Loves Onions fucking stupid YouTube channel? I get he does stuff for the community, whatever, yada yada. I don't care. I don't know who this motherfucker is. Okay? I'm on the Patreon. I'm on the regular feed.
Thank you.
I've double checked everything to see, what did I miss? What did I miss? What did I miss? You're gonna tell me you had a fucking episode with Dick Masterson. Okay, and I have to go to some other motherfucker's channel. I get it. You want to spread the love.
Okay, I'm cutting him off. It's a very long voicemail. But yes, if you want to check out This Little Piggy with Dick Masterson, that is on Nobody Likes Onions, because what happened is I rotate This Little Piggy. It's on my channel. It's on Patrick's channel. Sometimes it's on Tuki's channel when he can make it. And I invited Dick to come on This Little Piggy the week before, and Dick goes, I'm going to a wedding. So it's like, oh, okay. He goes, I can come on next week, though. I was like, all right. So he got the invite to come on Patrick's channel. So I didn't put that out because it's not on my channel, so I didn't feel like I had the ownership to do so. But I do encourage you to check out Nobody Likes Onions on YouTube and our episode of This Little Piggy, because we're gearing up for Hackamania. It's going to be interesting.
Hi, it's me again. I called about you having anything you do with Dick on your feed.
Right.
What's wrong with Moody's teeth? Like, he's not helping the whole European or England people, whatever the fuck he calls them.
British?
They have shitty teeth. Like, his teeth are white. Right? They're white.
Yeah.
But it's like a clusterfuck of little white chiclets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You know? And also, I mean, that, whatever. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Okay? And I don't know. That's it. Okay.
Here you go. I love that he thinks Moody is British. I hate to break it to you guys. Moody is Iranian.
Indian?
He's Iranian, and he moved to New Zealand.
What?
Yeah, so not even the right continent. And
You just lost a lot of viewers.
Two options. But Moody's a wee man. That's why he has his baby teeth in still. Don't let the beard fool you. Here's a guy calling from the shower.
Hey, Carl, it's Jim from the shower. I just took off the shower head, and I went to go spray my asshole, really get it cleaned out and stuff. And boy, oh boy, it was so hot, I burned the shit out of my asshole. Oh, Carl, it really hurts.
Is this for your personal line?
There's a lot of reasons to call it a WATP. That is not one of them. But thanks for the update. Sorry to hear.
I didn't hear any
your asshole.
water. I didn't hear any water.
Oh, maybe they wasn't in the shower. Maybe that was all performative. It's very possible. Gary in San Diego has a question.
Well, Chillerfest is over and done. The books are closed. Now, did Stuttering John make a profit? Did he make a net profit? Did he break even? Or is he awash in red ink? What is your best guess as to how Stuttering John came out of the Chillerfest?
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Rock and rolla.
Rock and rolla, Gary. Here's my assessment on it. John has no idea whether he made money or not at that event. He has no idea the accounting when it's all said and done. But based on what we heard from people who went and saw him, didn't seem like he was that busy. A lot of free time, a lot of downtime.
Money
Sitting there
comes
at that-
in and it goes out.
Right, he wouldn't know. Although his sugar daddy was there, so maybe VTM threw him some cash or something.
He didn't make any money from it, Gary. He barely covered the cost of his expenses. He did a basic split for the amount of photos that he sold with the house, and he didn't sell enough to really... I mean, he made some money, but they didn't pay him anything, so they didn't lose anything. It's only a win for them, for him to show
What's
up.
a basic split? Are we talking 70-30, 80-20?
I mean, it's 60-40, 70-30. It's not good for him. It's not good.
Not good.
It's not. Because you have to, I'm assuming he had to provide his own pictures, and they just take the cut and provide the handler. And just so you all know, the handler was not there for John. The handler was there to make sure that they got a cut of every single picture showed and that he didn't lie about it.
And isn't it funny that he treated the handler like security? As soon as Jack's girlfriend was filming, he's like, she's videoing me right now. Like, telling the handler that. Like, they're
She
supposed to
is-
be like,
Yeah.
whatever. I
She's,
don't know.
yeah, exactly.
John,
Like,
I
just
can't
put your
do
bag-
anything about that and get your hand off my leg.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're not supposed to be drinking beer. It's a
That was
convention.
amazing. The fact that John, because we all saw on the website that there's no alcohol there. The fact that John had a Coors Light right there in front of him, amazing.
People will do that. It's a convention. You're there to sign. You'll have a sneaky little thermos or something. And if you're bringing in money or if you're attracting people, they don't really care. When you're alone in the gold room in booth number 4 and there's no one in there and you're loud and smelly and drinking, it's just not a good look.
That's not the Stuttering John I know. It's professional. Did Jake ask you Stuttering John in his list of professional or unprofessional?
Oh, no.
Then let me ask you. I want to hear professional or professional, and then one word to describe him.
Well, the thing I feel about
Oh,
Stuttering
no.
John...
Yeah, just answer the question.
See? No one would. He had balls. I love it. John, we all know he's unprofessional. One word, loser.
Perfect.
Photoshop of Anthony Cumia holding a comb. It's Anthony Combia, Opie's worst nightmare. Also, I called in earlier about the bonfire. The episode in question is Hot Zero Tards? Hot Zeros? I don't know. It's fucking awful either way. All right.
Oh, yeah, I did get notes about this episode of The Bonfire that people were not thrilled with. But I like Big J. He's doing his best over there. What he has to work with. Robert Kelly.
I'm glad you vetted Jack for PDP because it was very funny. After that Michael Gabinelli made me long for Clearwater Chad. Oof. See ya.
Low blow.
Yeah, that's rough. Jack was fantastic. No doubt about that. I think this might be Jake Hudson. You would know better, Adam. Listen closely.
Hey, Carl, you know there's chocolate in your butt? There's chocolate in your butt. You can eat that chocolate that's in your butt. There's chocolate in your butt. Eat it. Love you, brother. Bye. Love you, Lucy Tightbox. Love you, Annie. Adam Bush, you were the best. Bye.
Is that Jake?
No, because if it was Jake, he would refer to Miss Tightbox, like Tiny Tim.
Oh, okay.
It might be. It sounded a lot like him.
Second question. Is there chocolate in my butt that I could eat?
I wouldn't know, but
If you're
yes.
brave.
You almost convinced me there. He said it 3 times.
But Carl, listen to WATS, and you mentioned a bunch of homeless people being in Rochester on your bike ride.
Yeah.
How are there homeless people in Rochester? Wouldn't like one winter turn all of them into Jack Torrance at the fucking end of The Shining? How do they just not all get killed every winter? Calling back.
It's a good question. I wonder it myself. But somehow they continue to breed and grow in this city that we have. Do you know that? So there's the overpass, the pedestrian overpass over 490, and there's that ramp that you go up to get to it.
Sure.
And I ride my bike. That's a part of my bike route that I go. There's a homeless guy who now lives there. And when I say lives there, like I have to pedal through his living room and bedroom in order to go around this fucking guy. And I don't want to be a Karen, but I want to be like, can we clean this shit up? This is not good.
Yeah, he's complaining about you.
Good point. Anyway, they survive the winter every fucking year. Vinny's got a joke about that.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Give him too many coats. That's the problem. Count photographer. Oh, Adam, you're gonna like this. Getting real braggadocious. This count photographer.
Hey, Carl, it's Cal Photographer. A while ago, I mentioned I did some acting and I got more auditions and such than John. Well, today I got cast in a small little film, and it's a paid role, and that's more than John has done in the past decade. So that's there's a joke. I don't know. Fuck you. Bye.
Yeah. No, I think it was just you wanted to brag, but he does figure out the joke.
I got the joke. That's a win for the cow.
That's a win for the cow. Thank you very much. Congratulations, cow photographer.
Yeah.
Glad to hear you're getting some acting work.
You've got more going on in Opie, who big time that struggling actor he knows who has a new film coming out.
Oh, Opie. I mean, he's been so great to us over these past few months. I really couldn't ask for anything more. We appreciate him.
I got to go. Bye. I got to go. I got to go. I got to go. I got to go.
Right. Fine, Opie. We'll let you go. But thanks for being here. And a thank you to Annie, our review girl. Thank you to Adam Bush. Thank you to producer Chris.
Thanks.
And don't forget to go to hackamania.com so you can stream all of the podcasts live this weekend. And if you can't watch them live, they'll be available for you. So check that out. You can watch all the shows and keep up with what's going on at Hackamania. Also, if you are an executive producer of Hackamania, if you want to sign up for the higher tier, there's exclusive videos. I believe what's happening is Rocco will be filming all the trips to White Castle.
Oh, yeah.
The 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. trips to White Castle they're going to be making every freaking night because Rocco's obsessed with fast food and he's going to die soon.
It's the killing himself he's obsessed with. The fast food just happens to be there.
It's nuts. But if you want to watch those shenanigans, I probably won't be involved in that. But
yeah, I'll be watching that.
I'll be watching
performing
from the hotel room.
Okay, bye. That was a great episode. That was really great.
I got to go. Goodbye.
Good.
Okay, folks.
Guess what?
The
episode's over.
Go fuck yourselves. Have a good week.
Carl, I love you.
Are we done here?
I think we are.
Yes. Thank you for tuning in. Bye. Bye.
Okay, bye.
If I was such a loser, why is everybody so mad that I'm leaving?
Adam, how long is your nose? Michael C. wants to know.
I saw Opie's latest co-host and I said, just give me bigger than that. And they obliged.
Perfect.